Certain parties should stop rehashing the lab leak narrative, stop smearing China, and stop politicizing origins tracing.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz at the White House, which isn't weighing in directly on the Energy Department's assessment reported by the Wall Street Journal. America is listening to Fox News.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Hang on to your hats this afternoon. Strong and gusty winds under partly sunny skies. There are mild winds, 68 for the high, but some of these wind gusts could push 50 miles per hour. Gusty winds this evening up until about 9 o'clock. Clear skies and a chilly 38. Tuesday, sunny, light winds, nice afternoon. Tuesday, 62, and Wednesday, partly sunny, 65. 49 for the high on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brinton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brinton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to brintonvision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals and your resolutions, Brenton Vision is here to help. Call them today at 314-375-2020. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. That's 314-375-2020. Or schedule right now at brentonvision.com.
Planning for an upcoming trip? It's important to know that updated COVID-19 boosters are currently available at no cost to you. Remember that immunity could take time to build. Check eligibility and schedule at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Monday. Appreciate you being with us this afternoon. Beautiful day, windy day. Hannah, when you were driving in today, was it difficult to keep your car straight?
No, I didn't have any problems with the wind.
Oh, man. My Pacifica was whipping. And I was driving, and I noticed somebody else kind of swerving. And I was like, oh, my gosh, what's this person doing? They're staying in the lane or whatever. Maybe it's the broadside, the way the wind was coming in, because my drive-in is on 255, and that's kind of a north-south drive on 255 where I am. And it just was... It was ridiculous, but beautiful outside.
I know. It is really nice. I think it's supposed to be colder throughout the week. So.
Yeah. I saw on Thursday night and Friday night there's potential winter weather coming in. So enjoy that warmer air right now while you've got it. Appreciate you being with us and spending some of your maybe lunch hour talking to us. And, you know, I've been the big news story of last week was certainly, at least here in St. Louis, the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, saying Kim Gardner has to go. and using his power and the office of the Attorney General to do something about it, which we took a pretty wild ride last week. We had Will Scharf, who is a former federal prosecutor for this district, has prosecuted federal crime coming right out of here in St. Louis, is actually challenging Andrew Bailey for the Attorney General seat, which is interesting there because we don't, the idea, nobody's thinking about the Attorney General race in 2024 in the state of Missouri. Maybe a little bit more now. But the idea that Will, I really encourage you to go back to the podcast and listen to that interview. We did 2 segments with him, if you missed it. Articulating all of the problems plaguing the criminal justice system right here in our city. I don't really know what the details were. I'm coming into work today on Tucker. And did you experience this when you came in, Brad?
What was it?
They have Tucker taped off.
No.
I didn't see that.
Yes, all the way around the gas station down on Tucker and Convention Plaza.
Oh, really?
Yes, I had to divert.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on. I'll wait and see. I was going to look up a news story. But, I mean, if that happened in your hometown, if that happened on your way to work, if you don't live in the big city or work in the big city, I should say, that's a really big deal. In St. Louis, I just turned right and went around the crime scene. Isn't that really something that is shocking? Isn't that something that you should see and go, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And really be surprised to see something like that. This morning, it was just the existence of driving into town and working in downtown St. Louis. Crime is everywhere. You hope that you can get to where you earn your paycheck and get back home and feel safe. That was the basis of our conversation with Will Scharf last week. Something has to give. And then who knew? The next day, actually, I think during the conversation that we were having with Will Scharf, the mayor of the city of St. Louis, Tashara Jones, came out and told the public that it is clear that Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner has lost the public. That's a really important moment in the timeline of the city. For Tashara Jones to come out and say that, I give her a lot of credit for that. We're going to need to see more from her. She needs to lead the city. But it was very important for her to assess the situation in the city and understand that crime is so prevalent here that people are afraid to come downtown. People don't want to bring businesses here because people don't want to shop at businesses here or partake in businesses here and restaurants. Something has to give. The mayor calls out Kim Gardner last week. The attorney general responds and says, Kim Gardner has until noon tomorrow to step down. Kim Gardner doesn't. And Attorney General Andrew Bailey says, we're beginning the process to remove you from office. I want to know from you if you think this is going to pan out. If you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel today, there's a YouTube live chat poll, and it's, do you believe that Kim Gardner ultimately will be removed from office, yes or no? So we're super early on in this process. Is it going to happen? I'll tell you what, the news, the national news, at least on Fox, from what I've seen, is covering this quite regularly. They are very aware that the crime capital of the country, or whatever we are today, here in St. Louis, has taken action against a progressively funded and a progressively activist circuit attorney in Kim Gardner. I don't know what the ultimate outcome is going to be. I hope that the body of evidence is large enough that St. Louis does have a chance to have somebody who truly wants to prosecute crime and to advocate on behalf of this city, their citizens, their guests, their tourists, their visitors, that St. Louis is the safest place that you can be. What a departure that would be from where we are right now. How wonderful would that be for the economy? How wonderful would that be for the impoverished neighborhoods that are right outside of downtown? A financially successful city? That tide would rise all boats, for sure. We seem to have invested our votes and money into a system that wants to rehabilitate or not even pursue criminals. And the victims are left out of the conversation. It's good to see St. Louis taking a major step. I should probably say the state of Missouri taking a major step in the correct direction to getting the city back on track. when I was sitting in church yesterday and just kind of thinking, you know, how you sit in church or anywhere and you just start to reflect. And I was kind of struck by the idea of faith and belief, and not just even in a religious capacity, but the idea of believing in something. So, of course, it's easiest to talk about that in the context of religion, but I want to talk to you about belief and what you believe in, more so in the secular world, which I do believe is, if you're Christian, is always going to be tied together. But I want to ask you about the things you believe in. You know, the idea of freedom and liberty and the Second Amendment and the right to life, all of these things that you believe in. And I want to ask you how much you believe in them. Because the thing, especially in the wake of the Kim Gardner situation in St. Louis, a lot of people are saying, listen, they voted her in. They reelected her, right, Brad? I mean, she's won more than one election.
Yeah, she was reelected.
I could see voting for somebody who's really idealistic, and you got somebody who's saying all the things that make the heart on your sleevers feel really good. Like, this would be so great for our city. Let's vote for Kim Gardner. And then she's in there, and then you go, holy crap, this was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
We reelected her.
Yeah.
I didn't.
What we say I can't vote in these elections.
No, I wish I could. The city reelected her. She is back in this position because she has regained a vote of confidence. And I think that is really an important thing to understand. Why is it that people are seeing the status quo and saying, more of this, please? Well, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. And people will say, all these blue cities, blue states probably included, but specifically the blue cities, they just keep sending the same kind of people or just the same people back into these offices. Why is it? That's a hard question to answer because it seems so ignorant. It seems so vapid to look at the city the way it is right now and go, this is fantastic. You guys are doing a great job. How about a couple more years? It doesn't make any sense to put those two things together. 2 + 2 = 4. So when I'm thinking about this and I'm assessing this and trying to figure out why is it that a situation like this in the city of St. Louis, which is replicated all across the country in blue cities, how does this continue to operate in this kind of status quo? And if you can't really understand the people who are for it, you have to ask yourself about the people who are against it. If it's not so clearly obvious why somebody would continue to get votes to go repeat and give you more of the same, if you can't reconcile that pile of votes, you have to look at the challenger. You have to look at the opposition, and you have to say, why is this pile not bigger? And so sitting in church and thinking about, I think the pastor was doing sermon on Revelation. And I mean, that's not first chapter Christianity stuff.
No, it is not.
Correct?
When you get the Bible, if you've never read the Bible before, don't start in Revelation.
Start
you'll
where
go,
it says in the beginning.
Locusts with stingers like scorpion.
Yeah,
What?
yes. And highly interpretive based on the different kind of church that you go into and how the individual person delivering the message. There's a lot there. And so I'm sitting here listening to this, and it's talking about what's to come and maybe what has been, all at the same time, we think. It's complicated. But it's in the Bible. And I'm sitting there in the pew listening to this, and I believe in the Bible. I'm not going to pick and choose. I believe the canon of the Bible, and I give my faith over to that even when I completely don't understand it. Because the person who authored the Bible to me probably did get it. And I'm just having what you might call faith that my understanding isn't required for something to be true. And I'm thinking about the process of believing in something, even when you're going, ooh, that's interesting. That's pretty wild. Seriously? Am I picking and choosing here? No, I'm giving myself over to it. It's faith. And I'm thinking about what people do when they have that kind of faith or that kind of belief. What are you willing to do? And I'm assessing my Christian walk in that And I'm also assessing my belief in other things that are more secular. And I'm asking myself, how much can people really see that I believe in this? See it, not hear it, but see it. I talk for 3 hours a day. I can say fanciful, well-articulated messages to you. I can make great, intelligent points to you. And then I could go be a complete and total hypocrite about everything. And if you don't look into my private life and I'm being a hypocrite, you may never know. And you could just believe whatever I was saying to you. I'm not advocating for that. I hope that's not the way that my life is assessed. I try to live my life the way that I speak about my life, for certain. But if I'm just Jane Schmo in the grocery store, or if I show up at some sort of political outing, or if I see turmoil somewhere and I want to be involved in the conversation, how do people see with my actions that there's something that I believe in? And what does it mean to believe in it? Do you believe in the Republican Party? Do you believe in the Democratic Party? Do you believe in your Second Amendment rights shall not be infringed? Do you believe that when the heartbeat stops, that indicates death? Should, when the heartbeat starts, indicate life? Does that mean something to you? How much do you believe in that? Do you believe in it enough to say, well, Annie, yeah, I would say that that's true. I believe that. Is there a but there? Is there a big but there that says that you believe it? But who are you to say what somebody else is going to do with their body? Imagine just for a second believing that when a heart starts beating, life begins. When a heart stops beating, life ends. But not wanting to infringe on somebody else's thought on that matter to where you just keep that belief to yourself. That's pretty gross. I'm guilty of it. I'm a huge pro-life advocate, but there's more that I could do. If I so passionately believe that life begins when the heart is beating, and in my instance, maybe even before that, if I believe that, shouldn't I be doing everything in my power to keep somebody from stopping the beating heart of life? If you believe so much, take it down. That's a really hot button issue. Second Amendment. Yeah, that gets people really worked up. What about inflation? What about the idea that people go to Washington, D.C., or maybe Jefferson City, or maybe Springfield, Illinois, for sure Springfield, Illinois, and go, we would like to have more of the taxpayers' money so we can give them the things that they need, as if they couldn't figure that out for themselves when the money is in their pocket. But this is what we believe. Do you disagree with that statement? Do you think that you are somebody who could make a better decision? Illinois is looking to bring the progressive tax question back, just so you know, heads up. Do you believe that you can handle your money better than your state government, better than your federal government? Are you angry when they come and say, I would like to have more of your money. In fact, we're just going to take it. And then we're going to invest it in something like in the state of Illinois that goes completely and totally against your understanding that when a heartbeat ends, it's death. When a heartbeat begins, it's life. We're going to take your money from you because we can spend it better on things that you don't even believe in. Do you believe that that's a bad idea? Do you believe in it so much that it just makes you frustrated when you think about it? And then after you get done thinking about it because you've distracted yourself by something, be it a sports game or a Candy Crush or something like that, you've adjusted your focus and now you're not thinking about it anymore, so you're not angry about it. Do you still believe it? Because if you truly do believe that the scenario of a government entity coming and taking more of your money to prop up the idea of abortion or about expanded issues in education where they get to put in certain types of topics in the classroom that you completely disagree with, or the idea of saying we're going to fund systems in our state or in our entire country that are going to make it so people can walk across the southern border and just be here and be taken care of by your tax dollars, that, remember, we know better for what to do with your money than you do. It's for the greater good. Trust us. In fact, we don't even care if you trust us. We're just going to do it. Do you believe in something that differs than that? Because if you believe it, if you've ever made a snide comment on Facebook, if you are on Twitter and you're slapping people around on Twitter, and that's the extent of it, I don't believe what you think you believe in. I don't believe you. And I'm asking myself, do I even believe me? Have I done enough? Am I so motivated that I can come on to the radio and to talk to you about these things and to be real worked up about it? Am I doing with my actions and my feet what I need to do so people see what I believe in? There's way too much noise in the world. And that noise is in footsteps moving in the direction of action. And when we don't have those footsteps moving in the direction of action, we have crime-ridden cities that are being run by progressive circuit attorneys like Kim Gardner, and she gets to stay there because obviously the votes for her don't make sense. There's not enough opposition in votes against her. There are not enough people in this city that believe that the city deserves differently. It has to go all the way up to the state government. The attorney general is stepping in and saying, you guys aren't capable of handling your city. We're going to have to take this from you. I don't love that. Unfortunately, it seems to be necessary because the city can't help itself. Because in many cases, the city is driving out businesses, driving out residents, driving out people who care enough about the city because they're afraid, literally, for their lives and their well-being. I'm asking you today, what do you believe in? I'm asking myself, what do I believe in? And then I'm challenging you, along with myself, to prove it. Because the city of St. Louis cannot sustain the way it is right now with more of these kinds of elections that continue to turn their head from everything that is common sense. Today, this conversation centers around St. Louis. It applies to the entire state of Illinois. It applies to the entire federal government. Because if you think my scenario about overspending to invest in things that you don't believe in doesn't apply to big government Republicans in your federal government, you're not checking yourself. There has to be a reckoning in how we assess the importance of voting, the things that we as individual voting citizens believe in. And we have to start putting action behind our frustration and our anger. You can't just be angry. All anger does is breed more anger when the action hasn't been put into place to make a change. If you don't go vote, if you don't go do what you need to do to make sure that your frustration is understood by people, not just heard, but understood by people, there will be no change. Go vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you believe that Kim Gardner ultimately will be removed from office? Yes or no? I have no idea how y'all feel about this, so get onto the YouTube channel and let me know where you are on this issue and leave a comment as well. Hannah always features those comments in the poll results in the 2:45 segment. So make sure that you get your thoughts in now, and we'll highlight those as we go through the show. When we return, we're going to speak to our friend Hogan Gidley. He's America First Policy Institute's senior advisor for communications, a friend of the show. And we're going to talk to him about this issue, among many others, when we return. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Just like golf, investing your money can be tricky. Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft here. When market downturns happen, investors are tempted with products that promise to guard against inflationary sand traps. From coins to cryptocurrency and everything in between, always research the investment before you write the check. Visit MissouriProtectsInvestors.com for more information. That's MissouriProtectsInvestors.com.
Paid for by Investor Education and Protection Fund.
So the Retirement Advisory Group, online at retirementkey.com, these folks can help you understand exactly how to breathe that sigh of relief that comes along with the anticipation of retirement. You can spend a lot of time working to save and sacrifice a little bit, of course, over the course of your career. But when you get to your mid-50s, you start thinking, okay, did I do enough? Or maybe I absolutely did enough. Do I trust the yahoos that are in charge to not blow this thing right before my retirement happens? I'm talking to you, people who know what it was like in 2008. You don't want to live in that fear, and you don't have to. Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, all of the people at the family-owned and operated business at the Retirement Advisory Group can walk you through the process of having a worry-free retirement. And it's very simple. All you got to do is schedule an appointment by calling 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494, and discuss with them free, no cost or obligation to sign up to have that conversation about how to get that worry-free retirement. 314-993-9494 at retirementkey.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
If you need a new fence or deck, experience matters. At Chesterfield Fence and Deck, they've been at it since 1968. Mark Cox here. If you want the sign you have the very best, go to Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Visit their extensive showroom there in Chesterfield. They'll give you free in-home estimates, no obligation, even free project design. Their fences are made in the USA. They're wood, vinyl, or aluminum, even steel and chain link, and their decks are beautiful natural cedar. Plus, they have that Vecadec vinyl decking, which is the strongest in the industry, with no maintenance. They also do custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas. You'll want to find out more about Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Go online today to chesterfieldfence.com. Mention Mark Cox, and you'll get a special discount for the month of February and March. chesterfieldfence.com, or call them today at 636-532-4054.
If you own a small business, you know the value of time. GetRefunds.com does too. That's why they've made it easy, no matter how busy you are, to apply for the Employee Retention Credit, or ERC. Go to refunds.com to get started, and in less than 8 minutes, see if your business qualifies for ERC assistance. Your business may be eligible for a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee kept on payroll during COVID-19. GetRefunds.com has already helped clients claim over $3 billion in payroll tax refunds through the ERC, and they may be able to help your business too. There's no upfront charge either. They don't get paid until your business gets its refund. Many businesses believe they won't qualify based on incomplete or outdated information. So don't let this opportunity pass you by, because this payroll tax refund is only available for a limited time. Go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com.
You know, it's Lent, and we want you to come have a fish dinner with us on The Mark Reardon Show.
Fish Fry Fridays start this week with the first one at St. Stephen Proto-Martyr Catholic Church.
Come join us.
The Mark Reardon Show, this week on 97.1 FM Talk. This is The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
My favorite tree. Well, I'm offering
And to travel there and have you talked with the mayor?
I can't recall that. I don't think I've talked to the mayor. I've talked to everyone else there, and multiple times. I've talked to both the senators, both governors. I've talked to everyone there is to talk to. And we've made it clear that everything is available.
So I've talked to all the people in federal government. I can't recall if I spoke to the mayor of East Palestine, but then at the end there, he goes, I talked to everybody who you could talk to. He doesn't even know what he's saying. From start to finish, it's a 17-second clip. The president does not know, or maybe he does, and that was the nicest way he could come up with politicizing the response of, no, I haven't talked to the mayor, but I talked to everybody else that matters to me. Seems like that's what he just said. Is this president in touch? Is this okay? Let's talk to Hogan Gidley. We welcome him back to the show here. He is the America First Policy Institute Senior Advisor for Communications, also the former National Press Secretary for the Trump campaign. Hogan, welcome back to the show. I want to ask you this question up front. What would it be like doing communications for this president? That might be the answer right there.
I've been doing this for 25 years now. I had the blessing to work for someone like Mike Huckabee, who knew his way around messaging. Someone like Rick Santorum, also, was strong on messaging. And then, of course, Donald Trump, a master marketer, someone who talked directly to the American people. But in addition to them having the ability to do that, they also had a lot of things to sell and to show off to the American people. This president's got nothing. Everything he looks at, everything he touches, everywhere he turns, it's abject failure after abject failure. And with his language, he always likes to pretend as though these things are happening to him, like he has no control of it, which, of course, begs the question, why'd you run for president? I thought you were going to fix all these things. Now he gets there and says, I can't fix anything. It's all happening to me. No, it's happening because of him. These are all his policies that continue to rear their ugly heads and impact families in a negative way across this country. This train derailment is just the latest example of an ineptitude that we were told would never exist with Joe Biden. I mean, he's held political office for more than, about 50 years, almost half a century at this point. The adults are back in charge. I don't know about you, but whether it's the young pothole Pete showing up looking like a cosplay fool in his orange vest and his hard hat, or whether it's a 80-year-old president, neither one of them have the ability to do the job. The adults are not in charge. These are just abject failures from top to bottom.
Hogan Gidley with us right now. And, I don't know why. I'm disappointed in myself that I'm still surprised when this happens. But according to what we're hearing from reports all over the place in the leftist media, this train derailment is Trump's fault. If that is something that the media can collectively get behind and give that as a scapegoat to the people who are in charge, how does this country move on from this moment in time where, the mayor of East Palestine can maybe get an audience with the man in charge?
It's going to be difficult. I mean, look, I think all the left controls all the major levers of power and influence. Of course, it's the media, but it's also big tech and Hollywood and colleges and universities. And they have a large bully pulpit from which to spout their lies. And even when Donald Trump's in office and successfully doing things on behalf of the American people, 93% of the news coverage was negative. That's not hyperbole. That's by statistical data and metrics. 93% negative. He did all the things for the American people, from peace deals to trade deals to lowering taxes, to stopping foreign wars, preventing North Korea from shooting off rockets, bringing home hostages, rebuilding the military, all in the face of a negative media, giving him no credit. It's very difficult for this country to move forward in any positive way when an entire political party, the Democrats, consistently try and teach our children, consistently go on television and say things like America is inherently evil and that we are the cause of the world's problems. That is a real issue for the future of this country. Polarization, politics, anger, that's always been around. The left tries to pretend as though, politics started the minute Donald Trump was elected. Donald Trump didn't kill politics. He's the coroner. It was already dead. He just showed up and said, what I'm looking at doesn't work. What I'm looking at is dead. What I'm looking at are globalists, elites trying to take over everything. No more. I'm going to stand up for you. I'm going to protect you, the average American. That's what you saw when he went to Palestine. And you saw the exact opposite from the Biden administration, blaming Donald Trump for the problems they are facing. It's funny how all of these derailments and all of these problems, they never happened under Trump, even though all of his deregulations were the fault, right? He was the problem, but none of this happened under him. This whole thing, look, a lot of people are to blame for this train derailment. I'm not trying to say it's all Joe Biden's fault, but the aftermath sure is, in large measure because the narrative coming out of that derailment did not really fit a national narrative they wanted to address. If you have a shooting where it's a white person shooting up a school, it's a national story. If it's someone who's Asian shooting up a school or someone black shooting up a school, then it's just local. Just brush it under the rug. Don't worry about it. You thought this was tailor-made for the left and all their environmental craziness because Fish were dying. Animals were getting sick. People were getting sick. The air was polluted. You thought for sure they'd jump all over that. Greta Thunberg ought to have a press conference every day about it. How dare you? And nothing. It's because it happened on his watch and because these are largely Trump voters. It is really disgusting.
It is. Hogan, you're so spot on with this assessment. And you said something here that is really important for people. Conceptually, it's kind of one of those things that everybody knows, but every once in a while you get to put your finger on something and go, yes, that's exactly right. For what we've seen from the administration so far, it seems to accommodate the entire situation to ensure that everybody understands who is to blame for this. And that seems to be the end game, to make sure that everybody understands whose fault it is, which is, I guess, really, really smart politics, because you vote in the next election to fix the problems that have been, deemed to happen prior to that election. People who want to win re-elections need to solve problems. They need to show up, and they need to be a voice for people who would otherwise be voiceless to be able to access the help that they need. And we don't see anybody from this administration showing up to do this. And the next election, I very firmly believe that America can't sustain living under this excuse-giving formative narrative that is out there by the media and that the administration is profiting on. They're going to need solutions. How does that look for you on a widening, presidential primary, but also we're seeing people get in the Senate race? What message collectively do Republicans need to have to really gain the votes of people in East Palestine, but watching this all across the country?
Well, two things. First, let me focus on the politics of it. I love the right because we love the Constitution. We revere that document in many ways. In large measure, because the Constitution is a brilliantly written document that really does give us the right to be left alone. And we like that. The problem is, the team that wants to win is always going to defeat the team that just wants to be left alone. So we have to be engaged at every level, whether it be school boards, whether it be the blocking and tackling needed to win elections. If you have ballot harvesting laws in your state, you don't like them, fine. Then just out ballot harvest the hell out of the Democrats in the next election. I guarantee you they'll want to change the strategy, just like they did with Facebook after 2016. They said, we should regulate Facebook. I mean, Obama used it well, but Trump did too. We don't like that. Let's fix it. That's the politics of it. Get out there and get involved at every single level. But as far as the policy is concerned, Republicans here are the only ones offering solutions. And by the way, those solutions, those America First policies, are 80% popular with the American people, regardless of race, religion, color, or creed, or political party. It cuts across all lines because we know they've been successful. And we don't have to point all the way back to Reagan like we used to say, look how good it was under Reagan. We can just say 2 years ago we could afford gas and groceries. 2 years ago we had a southern border that made sense. 2 years ago we had low crime, low human smuggling, low child trafficking, low drugs pouring into our country and our communities, lower numbers. Now it's all through the roof. Now it's all these problems. Inflation is at a 40-year high, and they blame everything under the sun for it. First they said it wasn't happening, then it was, and it was transitory. Then, of course, it was because of COVID, because of the supply chain. Oh, but now it's happening, but it's good for you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry at all. This is the kind of line that I think the American people reject because they do want solutions that make their lives better. Republicans have those. And if they continue to focus on America First solutions that protect the American people, not just safety and security, but their pocketbooks as well, they're going to win all day long.
Well, Hogan, you've absolutely sold me on it. I'm right there with you, and I know you got to run. But real quick, before we let you go, can we out-ballot harvest the hell out of them if average people, just like me and the people listening right here in St. Louis, don't get involved? Do they need to be a part of the solution?
Oh, you've got to be part of the solution. Remember, Mike Huckabee used to tell me the toughest job in politics was school boards because they all had your phone number. But the more local the election, the easier it is for you to effectuate change. The more local the government, the easier it is for you to get the policies enacted you want enacted. So you have to be involved at every level. And if there's one silver lining, only one from COVID, it was we got to peek behind the curtain in the education system out there and went, wait a minute. You're trying to trans our kids in kindergarten and you're teaching them critical race theory, sexualizing our children in grade school? I don't think so. You had a lot of parents get involved, and all of a sudden we are now on the ground, not just with education, but with election integrity issues as well. We are fighting at the Democrats at their own game, and I promise you we're going to win. Find out the law. Look, the only way to fix bad policy is to beat them at it. Like I mentioned the Facebook example. If you don't like ballot harvesting laws, fine. Then you park out in front of every venue you know to park out in front of, and you ballot harvest the heck out of this next election, and you watch the Democrats scatter at the end and want to change the laws. I guarantee you that'll happen, and then we'll have voters and votes that are protected for the future.
Man, the America First Policy, or go to americafirstpolicy.com and learn more about what Hogan Gidley is helping lead here. We appreciate you, Hogan. Thank you so much for the time today. Great stuff.
Annie, thanks. I feel a little fired up. Maybe I had too much coffee this morning. Maybe it's just you.
We could
I'm fired up today.
We could go on and on and on, and we'll have you back to do that again. Thank you, Hogan.
Anytime. Thanks.
Right, bye-bye. America First Policy Institute Senior Advisor for Communications. So on point. Let's take that frustration and anger, anything that you've been frustrated about in the past. Listen, if they were able to change the rules of the game and beat you at it, you got to beat them at that way to change the rules of the game. How are you going to be involved? What do you believe in? I think this is a really important point to ask yourself that question while the primaries aren't set. We don't know everybody who's going to be in. What do you believe in? What do you stand for? And chances are you've got somebody who's in the race, probably, maybe going to be in the race, possibly, who reflects those values. And it doesn't matter to me if it's one man or woman or the other. You have to get involved if you believe in it. If it's something that's really more than a minor frustration, you have to do something about it. AmericaFirstPolicy.com is a great resource for you to check out and learn a little bit more about what they're advocating for and how you can get involved yourself. We're going to take a quick break. Wiggins America in studio here when we come back. And a reminder to vote in that YouTube live chat poll. Do you believe that Kim Gardner ultimately will be removed from office? Yes or no? Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. And Hannah will feature that at 2:45 today. And at 1:10, right around the top of the hour here, we're going to have Steve Moore on the show. He's with the Heritage Foundation to talk about the economy as we do each Monday. I can't wait to discuss with him the latest news facing the business industry, the economy, and jobs at 1:05. Wiggins America. We come back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant homes, inherited homes, fixer-uppers, beautiful homes, even the tenant who won't pay the rent apartment. Google us. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out our best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to our website, chrisbuyshomes.louis.com, or call Chris at 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000, and get the offer you've been waiting for. 314-782-8000.
Stewart's American Mortgage and my friend Stewie. I am a customer of Stewie's. I know I talked to you about a lot of things that I am supporters of and partnered with. And when I do talk about those things, it's important that you understand that I am a customer or a frequenter of these places. I've refied with Stewie twice with the bagel loan. The first time was because buying our original house in 2015, which I didn't do with the bagel loan, come 2019, rates had gone down significantly. When you did the bagel loan refinance with Stewie, I didn't pay any fees that other lenders out there would charge me for. So it didn't cost me anything. And my rate went down pretty significantly because naturally at that point, rates had gone down. Then a year later, I needed to replace the deck on my house. It's an expensive process. We had the equity in our home, as a lot of people do right now. So we took the equity out of our house with that bagel loan refinance, got an even lower rate at that point, and was able to pay for the new deck on our house to make it safe for my kiddos to be out there. I trust Stewart's American Mortgage. If you are looking to purchase a home, Stewie can help you with the bagel loan. Save on closing costs because he doesn't charge you any. It's real. It's not a gimmick. Call him, 314-324-4440, or text him at 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Connect with the personalities and give your feedback. 97.1 FM Talk is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For content that's additional to the radio, join us there. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're happy to be here with you on a beautiful Monday afternoon. Today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you believe that Kim Gardner ultimately will be removed from office? Real quick pan of the room. Do you guys have a definitive response to this? Are you waffling at all, Brian?
I think she's going to lose it.
No.
Oh, okay. No.
You think she's okay?
Yes.
Do you have?
I think she'll be removed.
Okay, we'll just answer it.
I don't have an answer yet.
You don't have an answer? Okay, thank you. Let's get to Wiggins America.
Wiggins! Oh, Wiggins! So this is a topic I love talking about with you guys. It does involve education, although in this case I do think that it really is talking more about the economy. It's from KCBS, a radio station doing news reporting, talking about worker shortages across the country. First of all, driving up wages for skilled trades, but also looking at the idea that a bachelor's degree is really not what it used to be. As in, you don't necessarily need a bachelor's degree to get a lot of the same jobs as you did before. I would view that as a positive simply based on conversations we've had before about the college system and the way that it's set up. But really, we're talking more about the economy here.
I need a little clarification on
go
this.
ahead.
Are you saying that the bachelor's degree isn't necessary or it's not worth anything?
It seems to be that people, according to this expert or these experts that are talking about in this article.
Are you advocating for the article, or what? Are you asking his opinion?
I'm asking for, I guess, for the article. I just need clarification.
What the article is saying?
Yeah.
So they're saying that in the past, it used to be that you'd put a job out there and you'd get 100 applicants, whatever it was. Nowadays, you're getting so much fewer applicants that one of the ways they would wean through those is to say, well, who's got a degree and who doesn't? Now, they're simply saying, you know what, we don't even care about who has a degree. We much more want to see who has experience, and we want to meet the people, and the bar is lower because there's less applicants.
Well, I'm just wondering if it's more of like a syndrome from the Incredibles thing when everybody's super, nobody's super. And therefore, if you have a...
Now he's speaking my language.
Yes. Well, if everybody has a bachelor's degree, then it doesn't set you out. I mean, it used to mean a lot more because it was rarer and more valuable.
I don't think that in this instance, though, the last thing that Ryan said there is the key here. There aren't enough applicants. There are too many job availabilities. That may seem to water down the need for a bachelor's degree. I think it amplifies it. If there's a smaller pool of people and you have a bachelor's degree, I think that will stick out in a group of people right now that maybe if you're applying for a job that would require one, that does absolutely matter. We can't conflate the idea of getting a college degree with the way people have crapped on trade work for so long. The idea that you were supposed to get a college degree and that was supposed to be, the thing that you did. Where are you going to college? Well, what if I don't want to go to college? What if I want to learn how to be a plumber or an electrician or something like that? We have devalued those work lines of work. And so it's very simple to get into this kind of lazy conversation of, well, a degree doesn't mean anything. When it's like, no, we need to value all sorts of things. I don't think that the value of a college degree is any less, but what is your college degree in? If you have a college degree in something that doesn't have anything to do with the work that you're going to do, then it was always not valuable. And if you're applying for a job, and let's say that previously these types of jobs, you'd open them up, you'd get 100 applicants in 3 days. If people are now saying, you know what, if you don't have a degree but you have the experience, come apply for this job, because when you open that job, you get 3 applicants, then of course you're going to open it up to people who have experience and not a degree, or maybe they didn't complete their degree, because you need people, you need bodies. And if you're gatekeeping with the idea of being a degree, there are so many degrees that people can get right now that are wastes of time, but that doesn't speak for all of the degrees. I don't want somebody getting a job in a medical line.
Right.
I've had some experience in the field, if you know what I mean. With needles, and I think I would be a great phlebotomist. I don't think that's an extreme example, but my point is still made. It's to me, it's not about how valuable the degree ever was or how valuable the degree is right now. It's about what else do we value, and the fact that we are paying people not to work. So we have to open up the field. And if we're going to continue to pay people not to work, or if we're going to continue to have a system that says, if you don't work for a living, you won't have to worry about any of the things that come along that sustain your life, because we live in a country now that will provide you all those things. There is a certain group of people in this country that will say, that's good enough for me. So there's no reason to go out and make a difference.
Can we take what you're saying about certain degrees? Because I agree, you don't want to have somebody who's working on you medically, or an engineer, or really a lot of the science degrees. You don't want to have those as undertrained. You want somebody who really knows what they're doing. But could we take what you're talking about with trades? And this is where I think we may be seeing a shift economically of this happening right now. You take what you're talking about with trades, where you do have, it's a shorter training. It's not a 4-year degree usually. It's usually a 2-year, or maybe even you're learning on the job. That's wonderful.
Trades are usually apprenticeships.
Yes. And apply that to more degrees, to apply that to more other industries. Because like you're saying, there are so many that if you have a couple years in the industry, you to me would be so much more valuable as a hire than if you just had a degree and you knew it theoretically.
Well, my thoughts on this, like the way we got where we are is because everybody went and got a degree. And so therefore you need a degree to do everything. It used to be you could get an apprenticeship or do a trade. So then everybody got a degree. Well, the schools looked at this, they said, hey, look at all this money we can make off of degrees. So they expanded the amount of degrees. If we concentrated, like Annie's saying, if the type of degree matters, if we got rid of certain degrees that don't really... A degree in ballroom dancing. Do you need a degree in ballroom dancing?
Yeah, if you want to be a ballroom dancer and can sustain a lifestyle.
But
like
I mean,
that.
you need to be able to dance in the ballroom, but you don't need the degree.
And you need the training.
You
need the training.
That's an interesting example. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I don't want to get
underwater basket weaving. I don't know.
I don't want to get on a tangent.
But my thing is if our degrees are more applicable to the jobs that we have out there in the world, then the degree becomes more valuable. It separates you. The training becomes more focused on what it is you're going to be doing in the job that you're going to be taking. I think that schools, like any other thing, are a money-making organization. So they say, hey, if we got more degrees, we can have more people make money. And then that diluted the number of degrees. So students go there, and then that adds to the debt, the student loan debt and all that other stuff, because people are getting degrees that won't get them jobs when they come out. So they've spent $30, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 on a degree that won't help them get a job.
I want to hear your perspective on this, Hannah, because you're in this spot.
No, she's not. She has an associate's degree.
Right.
But not a bachelor's
But not
degree.
a bachelor's.
Yeah, but you're 21 years old. You couldn't possibly.
But is this a good thing? I mean, do you view this as a good shift if it is happening? And do you see it happening?
It's kind of hard for me to answer this. I do think it's good. I also do think that your passion and interest, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to talk about this. Of course, I'm going to say it's good for me because I don't have a bachelor's degree and I'm hired here. So I'm like, sure, less school for me.
On the job training.
Yeah, but on the job training really is important. And I've learned more working here the past year and a half than I learned prior in school about radio in general.
Yeah.
So
The last point this thing makes is that it does seem that remote work is probably never going away now because there's people need people to work, and so they're willing to kind of work with them much more than ever. So here we are. We're what you see the economy as right now is probably going to be in some ways the same with remote work anyway. And with bachelor's degrees, I say the more of them doesn't necessarily mean the better. That's the conclusion that I took.
Steve Moore on the Andy Frey Show. When we come back, we're going to get the update from him on the economy and where it continues to go. Jobs is a huge part of it. We'll talk to him about the jobs that are open. Is this a good jobs market? Steve Moore with the Heritage Foundation when we come back.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
Our military service members volunteer to protect us in the most dangerous places around the world. They step up. And when they are severely ill or injured, returning to their families is only the beginning of their long road home. Wounded Warrior Project provides these brave men and women whatever they need to continue their fight for independence at no cost for life. So now it's time for a grateful nation to step up. Join us at findwwp.org.
If you want to lose weight, I've got a great idea for you. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory Men's Health. They're now offering FDA-approved semaglutide. They have tremendous results with this medication. The average patient loses 15% of their body weight. Men and women can get semaglutide from Victory Men's Health at any of their 3 locations. Be sure and book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
China's not happy. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Beijing unleashing swift criticism of a report that the U.S. Energy Department now joins the FBI in believing an accidental lab leak is most likely how the COVID pandemic began.
Most of the big tech companies used to label as misinformation the lab leak theory. They've gotten away from that, though. But remember, not that long ago, the lab leak theory was seen as some fringe conspiracy theory.
Fox Business's Grady Trimble on Capitol Hill, where multiple multiple House committees, now led by Republicans, are already investigating COVID origins. The Energy Department's assessment, reported by the Wall Street Journal, was made with low confidence. The Biden administration has said there isn't enough information to be certain how the pandemic began. China calls the U.S. a bully after being called out for human rights abuses in new sanctions that target certain companies suspected of giving satellite images of Ukraine to Russian mercenaries. A Chinese foreign ministry spokeswoman says the sanctions are hypocritical.
Mao Ning says the U.S. providing weapons for Ukraine is virtually the same as China's backing of Russia. American diplomats have warned China against sending armaments to Russian forces occupying Ukraine. China says it's the Americans who are pouring weapons into the battlefield. The exchange comes as a new Fox poll reveals a majority of voters feel China is a serious threat to the United States.
Fox's Gernal Scott. The U.S. transportation chief says there's renewed public demand for rail safety improvements after the toxic train wreck in Ohio, which remains under investigation. Secretary Pete Buttigieg sending a letter to the CEO of Norfolk Southern and other railroads, urging them to join a program that encourages employees to report safety hazards with protection from reprisal, and saying he wants a reply by the end of this week. America is listening to Fox News.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Not me. Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Hang on to your hats this afternoon. Strong and gusty winds under partly sunny skies. There are mild winds, 68 for the high, but some of these wind gusts could push 50 miles per hour. Gusty winds this evening up until about 9 o'clock. Clear skies and a chilly 38. Tuesday, sunny, light winds, nice afternoon. Tuesday, 62, and Wednesday, partly sunny, 65. 49 for the high on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
John Mellencamp is coming to the Stiefel Theater on April 22nd, and every hour you log in to the Odyssey app, you'll be entered to win. Between now and March 5th, listen to 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app, and you could win tickets to see John Mellencamp April 22nd.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. 373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. Rick Santelli here live at CME HQ with the breaking news of the morning, starting out with durable good orders. These are January preliminary, expecting a number down 4%, down 4.5%. That is the weakest month-over-month change going all the way back to April of 2020.
So there you have that report. And the economy is kind of one of those situations for average-minded folk like myself, who I have my own personal experience. I know what it's like to go to the grocery store or the gas pump and experience those types of issues. I know how much taxes come out of my check for the city of St. Louis, for the state of Missouri, and pay taxes in the state of Illinois, and, of course, federal tax. I have my own lived experience. But there's always people out there advocating that the economy now is the worst it's ever been or the best it's ever been. What is the truth on the matter? Let's talk to Steve Moore, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation, author of the book Govzilla, back with us here on the Annie Frey Show. Steve, thanks for being here with us today.
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you.
It's hard for somebody like me to, I can turn on one cable network and hear a pundit that I like and go, yeah, this is the worst it's ever been. But then you hear somebody who maybe isn't somebody you partake in all the time say, no, this is good because. What's your assessment of it?
I think the economy's in some precarious shape right now. Look, the labor market is good. Workers can find jobs. There are jobs opening around the country, so that's the good news. The bad news is people are falling behind. The wages are falling further and further behind. I saw that Fox had a poll out that almost 80% of Americans only rate the economy fair or poor, and that's really bad number. Under Trump it was only 30% of Americans rated the economy as fair or poor. So I think Americans feel financially stressed out right now when they go to the grocery store and when they see their income taxes falling.
Well, I have an article here on Fox Business that says Fed likely to trigger a recession with higher interest rates. I don't know if it was maybe 10 months ago or maybe even more than that. We were saying, we're in a recession. The way we've always described a recession before, that had occurred. And then we had a discussion over the definition of the word recession. And now we're talking about the possibility of triggering a recession. What is it? What are we in right now?
We're not in a recession right now. No way. I mean, I went to the shopping mall with my wife on Saturday, and my God, you couldn't even get a parking space. So people are out shopping, they're spending money. But the problem is, Annie, that they're going further and further into debt to be able to, pay for their expenses. And so you see credit card debt is at an all-time high. And then, let's not forget the big, dark, black cloud of the economy is this massive national debt that just keeps going up by trillions and trillions of dollars. Under Biden, I just had a piece in the New York Post today noting that, he's only been in office 2 years and he's already increased the 10-year forecast for debt up another $6 trillion. It's unbelievable you could screw things up that quickly. So, we shouldn't be running more debt. Now that COVID is over, we should be running less debt. So I'm concerned about the direction of things, just like I think most Americans are.
Yeah, like I said, it's our own lived experience to know that the dollar doesn't go the earned dollar doesn't go as far as it used to, it seems, and it kind of creeps up in different places.
Well, that's the understatement of the century. What's the joke that the dollar store is now the $2 store because everything is, and it is true. I go to the grocery store maybe once every couple of weeks, and I'm amazed at what things cost. That a box of cereal, potato chips, a 6-pack of Coke. I mean, the kind of stuff I buy, is just, I cannot believe that this is the price of things. Like a box of Wheaties, $7.
Yeah. How bad do you need those Wheaties, man? It's like you definitely need to go for the generic brand. We're speaking with Steve Moore,
right.
distinguished fellow at economics economics. Why is it so hard for me to say today? At Heritage Foundation. Steve, we were talking a little bit earlier in the show about bachelor's degrees and how, the value of the degree these days. And with less people seemingly applying for jobs, that maybe people are valuing experience a little bit more than they would have previous if that degree is missing. But one of the comments that I made is it seems like we're very comfortable as a country making it less necessary for people to work, that those opportunities to have those most basic necessities provided to you in absence of a job, that's something that seems American right now. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I was just looking at, talking about the fact that people were out at the mall, people are spending money. And, we just gave people a 9% increase in their Social Security checks. So seniors are out there spending the extra money, even though that's just to keep up with inflation. And then I just heard on the news today that there was a major food stamp expansion program that's been expanded now for 3 years. It was supposed to be an emergency during COVID, and they're finally just getting rid of all those extra benefits. I'm like, well, no wonder people have been sitting at home for 3 years. I saw a report the other day that there's more mental health problems, more drug problems, more alcohol problems than ever before in this country. And I think it's because we don't have people working. So they're sitting at home. I'm generalizing here, but a lot of young people are sitting at home doing drugs, or, the government's sending them cash. They don't have a job. What do you think they do? They turn to alcohol, they turn to drugs, or they turn to video games, or they, have mental health problems because they're not socializing and getting out and doing productive work. So I don't know about you, but I'm just concerned about our country right now.
Yeah, I'm very much so concerned about our country. I'm raising 4 kids myself, and I'm thinking about the next few years, my oldest being 13, and I'm thinking about college and where's the right place to go to school, and how much is school going to cost them. We keep hearing people talking about paying off student loans for individuals. That's supposed to be at the Supreme Court, heard at the Supreme Court this Tuesday. And, how does the fact that everybody has access to a degree and the degrees don't have to be in anything that actually makes them good employees, the idea of creating people in a university system that are going to be workers or maybe business owners, that doesn't seem to be the point of university. And if it's not, then that means we aren't valuing, as a country, work anymore.
Well said. And, I think that if you look at, the demand for electricians, the demand for carpenters, the demand for construction workers, the demand for nurses, if you get any of these skills, you can make a lot of money. You can, start your own business. You can make $100,000. And so, I'm in favor of a liberal arts education. I got one myself at the University of Illinois. But now it's almost like the illiberal arts, where they're not teaching about the greatness of our country or the greatness. They're not teaching history. It's all this critical race theory stuff that's, not accurate. And it's a stain on the American education system. So I share your concern about that too, as well, that, especially I talk to employers, and they're having a hard time with these young workers that are getting out of college, and they all have grievances.
Yeah.
We call them snowflakes, Oh, gee, I can't work here. You don't have a transgender bathroom. It's like, look, we're here just to make money. We don't care about what, who you're sleeping with or anything like that, or how, what sexual identity you choose today. You're here to do a job. And, we've treated these young people, as I said, pampered, basically.
Yeah. Steve Moore with us right now with the Heritage Foundation. Is this a political problem? Is it bigger than that? Is it a cultural problem?
It's cultural.
Can we elect our way into a better economy in 2024?
Of course. When it comes to the economy, yeah, but we're talking more broadly about what's wrong with our culture in our country. And I think that goes to fixing our education system, fixing our families, fixing our churches, all our institutions. Unfortunately, not all of them, but most of them have been taken over by the left. I mean, my gosh, I'm Catholic, we've got a pope that's not even Catholic now. It's unbelievable that, how the left has infiltrated the universities, the Vatican, the media, even the sciences. It's making me very, very concerned about what our country is going to look like 20 years ago. I mean, look at the test scores that are coming out on our education. We rank one of the lowest countries in educational outcomes of any country, and we spend more than any other country. How'd that happen?
We just have the wrong priorities. It seems
I'd say
culturally we have the wrong priorities, and it trickles into so many other things in our economy. At least in a capitalistic economy like we have right now, Annie, it's hard to bring back.
But I'll summarize this because it's been an interesting discussion by saying this, that one of my good friends is Bill Bennett, the former education secretary, and wrote a really great book that everyone should give for their kids called The Book of Virtues. And I was talking to Bill the other day, and he was saying, the problem with America today is we have too much virtue signaling and not enough virtue.
Great.
And I thought, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Steve, thanks for being with us today. We're always grateful for you.
Okay. Have a great week. Take
you
care.
as well. Bye-bye. Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation, Steve Moore, joining us there. He said a lot there. Boy, did he. But if you really look at the value of work, I think that is a really interesting question that really kind of emanates into every different kind of categorical topic that we could cover here on a political, cultural basis. What do we value? We've talked about this last week. Self. Seems like self is the pinnacle, at least the trendy focus and goal is how can I focus more on myself? And it's very difficult to focus solely on yourself and understand that you're going to have to give in order to get. I was reading an article and what was it in? I can't, wherever it was, I remember looking at where it was coming from and I'm like, okay, this is a more established media disseminator. So I thought, okay, I'll read it. And it was talking about how they have the focus on Monday for them to go to work is to be as lowly productive as they possibly can. And the article was basically saying that if they would have a focus on Monday to do, I think they called it bare minimum Monday as a worker, bare minimum Monday, that would help with the Sunday scaries. Hannah, I don't know if this is my generation of millennials or if this is your generation Z.
Unfortunately, I think it's my generation.
There might be a little bit of crossover. But to think that in order to get over that feeling you get on Sunday, I still get the feeling on Sunday. I still will identify, oh, today is Sunday. Did I do my homework? I still have that feeling. Yeah. I'm almost 40. I understand that idea of the Sunday scaries. I'm opposed to having to name all of these things.
Yeah.
Cutesy names, but alas, it's the culture we're in. Bare minimum Mondays in order to medicate the Sunday scaries. Oh my heavens. What's wrong with us?
We're going to need to medicate everything then.
Yeah. And then I read the article.
A cycle.
This is my favorite part. I read the article and she's a self-employed TikTok influencer.
Oh.
And I'm like, you are a self-employed TikTok influencer. And so you do a bare minimum Monday to handle your Sunday scaries? There's a lot there.
Of being an influencer.
Mondays are slow, I guess. And here I am talking about her, which means she influenced me in some way, shape, or form. But I was
not in the way she intended to.
I pulled this. I was reading the story, and I thought the headline was compelling. I'm thinking, who needs to relax and do the bare minimum on Monday? Who's putting this out there for the world to see so their employer can be like, wait a second. On Mondays, you come in to do the bare minimum? And I'm like, she works for herself, and she's influencing on TikTok. I'm out. Peace. So I'm not reading the article to you, but that is the story. Give me a break.
I wonder if there's a degree for being a social media influencer now.
Well, I'm sure there's marketing. There's marketing classes you could take, and I honestly think that those would be good classes to take. But I'm saying this in a way that would market your product or service, not yourself. We should send you. We should send you to become to go to a social, see if you can audit the class, which means you sit there and you don't get credit for it, but you just take it. Oh my gosh.
Hannah can sort of help.
Yeah, you can help them.
Yeah.
Say, get into a different classroom.
Every time I think about being a TikTok influencer or something, I'm like, what happens when the app is illegal? Then what? What happens to your job?
They go to a different platform, which they should do now. TikTok is the devil. Period. Let's take a quick break. On the YouTube live chat poll, Hannah, you want to give us an update? A mid-show update when we come back?
Yep.
Where are we at? Do you believe that Kim Gardner ultimately will be removed from office? Yes or no? It's a national news story now, but certainly a very big one locally. You can vote by visiting us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and casting your vote in the live chat portion of today's live video. And let us know if you think Kim Gardner's ultimately going to get booted from office. Leave us your vote, and Hannah will feature a comment or two when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes, stlouis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant homes, inherited homes, fixer-uppers, beautiful homes, even the tenant who won't pay the rent apartment. Google us. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out our best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to our website, chrisbuyshomes.stlouis.com, or call Chris at 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000, and get the offer you've been waiting for. 314-782-8000.
The website is thediamondshop.net, but you can visit them in their store in Clayton. They've been in St. Louis since 1910. An experience of shopping for jewelry, even if it's just to get a first look and you go in and you're not buying anything today, you just kind of want to see what's out there. Maybe you're looking for a special ring for somebody, or maybe you were looking for something nice for yourself. The Diamond Shop is so welcoming when you walk in and talk to this family-owned and operated business for over 100 years here in St. Louis. They've been here and been around the area this long because they know how to do this. They have the right mentality. They have the right respect for people who walk into their shop not knowing their budget. Doesn't matter. They want to treat you with the Diamond Shop experience, which is going to have you coming back again and again because you're going to trust them to respect you, to help you work within your budget, to give you and deliver on that perfect piece, even custom jewelry, unique need that you have. Become a VIP on their website at thediamondshop.net.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Let the 2023 MLS season begin for St. Louis City SC.
Now, Y98 presents 90 and 60. A look back at St. Louis City's inaugural match against Austin FC.
Now Leuven, second corner of the night. Opposite side, a beauty, a laser. Oh, baby! Our city, our spirit, our first.
Here's an over-the-top ball to Driussi. Left foot floats one! And it's in the back of the cage. Tie game. Shot by Gallagher off the far post and in. Austin FC takes a 2-1 advantage.
Huge giveaway. In deep. Goal! Jared Stroud! Klaus down the right side of the box. Cuts it back toward the middle. Oh! 3-2 St. Louis City.
Close to a minute left in stoppage time. A flick on. Cross it here. Oh, a failed bar exam. Luckily, a header went off the bar. And now the whistle blows. St. Louis City SC victorious 3-2, a historic night.
This has been 90 and 60. St. Louis City SC hosts Charlotte Saturday night at City Park. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 on Y98 St. Louis.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Bill Holloway is back with us.
When you take the ability of judges to use their discretion, you take that away, that's not good. Take away consequences, then criminal behavior goes up.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Hercules and his gifts, Spider-Man's control, and Batman with his fist. And clearly I don't see myself upon that list. But she said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some super.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Just something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this.
Well, billionaire activist George Soros is doing it again, trying to reshape America's justice system in the way that he sees it. It's creating a nightmare for the rest of us. He's spending tens of millions of dollars pumping up far-left campaigns, soft-on-crime prosecutors, and the like. St. Louis Circuit Attorney, which is like a prosecutor, a DA, Kim Gardner is one of them. Missouri's Attorney General making it official. He wants her fired. Forbes ranks St. Louis as America's most dangerous city in 2022 and so far in 2023, and we're only in February. The ranking is based on crime, cost per capita.
It's nice to see the national media covering this story.
Yeah, you pointed it out to me this morning, and yeah, national coverage is what it's going to take because it's going to take national pressure on this. That'll move the state. That'll move, the people who need to move. And it might even get the attention of the people who are voting to maybe change their minds about this person that they've put in office.
It's also important to note that whoever gets the circuit attorney's position, should Kim Gardner be removed, is not going to be a strong conservative Republican. So people really need to measure their expectation. But I don't really feel like that position should really have political bent. That what we have right now is activism. Basically, there's a law, prosecute.
That's what I was just going to ask. Do you even have to be a strong conservative to prosecute crime?
Oh, absolutely not.
Do you even have to be one to even believe in it?
Who was I talking? Someone's listening right now, and you know who you are. But I don't know who you are because I can't remember who I was talking to. But I know somebody who was very closely related to, I think, one of the Boston Marathon bombers' attorney.
Oh, okay.
Defense attorney, no.
I was like, dang, that's a heck of a road because they were immigrants.
No, I know everybody. No. That there was the public defender had to make a case.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it works here.
Yeah.
So the idea that you would defend somebody who did the unthinkable, that is still an important part of our justice system. And there shouldn't be a conservative, liberal, progressive, right-wing, left-wing thing that is involved in that. What's best for the community? I mean, I guess maybe it's a little Pollyannish to say that like, Andy, that should be everything. Obviously healthcare. Who shouldn't be entitled to healthcare? And then that's just a whole ball of wax to say that. But when you think about our justice system, we put laws on the books. I mean, we're talking basic stuff here. For instance, this criminal that is at the epicenter of what spurred this Attorney General Andrew Bailey's pushing his forceful removal and going through the process to do that of Kim Gardner. Why is it difficult to look at somebody like this particular criminal and say 50 plus times that you broke bond? And the best Kim Gardner could do was an oral request, if it even is true. I still, in my mind, can't believe that she would just so boldly lie about that. So I know a lot of people are saying she lied. It's not in the court records, unless something happened over the weekend that I missed. Someone asked her that question. Why is it you're saying you made those requests and it's not in the court records? Why is that? Well, we made those requests, those motions orally. How would that not? It would still be in the record. If you're making a motion in court, that would be documented in the record. Did I miss anything over the weekend?
I haven't heard that they've found him yet.
Could she just so boldly lie about that?
I mean, she could.
Man, I'm
That's
telling you,
brave.
what, if you're gonna lie like that, and I saw a lot of judges recuse themselves because they're gonna potentially have to testify and all this. I'm sitting here thinking, wow, she's gonna go down in flames. But maybe she's not. To sit here and think, oh, we're all excited. Do you remember when Elon Musk announced he was going to buy Twitter?
Mm-hmm.
It was Christmas morning for conservatives all across the country. And then he wasn't buying Twitter. The deal was off. He tried to get out of it. And then I think he had to pay some court fees, and then he bought it. And then I saw him tweet, like, Twitter, the most expensive nonprofit organization he's ever invested in. In the moment, you can get all, fired up and say, wow, this could be really different for St. Louis. A, she may not be removed. B, she may be removed, and maybe they'll find somebody who's worse than Kim Gardner to put in there. Governor Parson contacted Mayor Tashara Jones and said, I want to work with you on finding a solution that basically was saying, Tashara, you're going to be a huge part of this. That respects, as much as you can, the will of the voters, the people who sent Tashara Jones into office are likely a lot of the voters who sent Kim Gardner back to be the circuit attorney. Thought that was a kind move on Parsons' part to make that phone call. But what are the real expectations? I'll ask you that question now.
Like, what are my expectations?
Do you believe Kim Gardner ultimately will be removed from office, which is the YouTube poll that Hannah's going to give us some reactions?
Ultimately, I think she will be removed. I think that,
process.
I don't think it'll be through this process. I think it's going to be through the state legislature. I think the state legislature is going to introduce some legislation that will either remove her or basically make her irrelevant, and they'll be able to end around and prosecute the criminals that she's not prosecuting.
Like a no confidence vote and a new process.
Yeah, like that or a special prosecutor or something like that. I think it'll be that. I think that's what's going to happen because that'll go a lot faster than the court process.
Does it bother you that, I know the answer to this, but I'm asking anyway. Does it bother you that Andrew Bailey, who is unelected, he's appointed because Eric Schmidt was the elected AG of Missouri, that he's taking such bold move?
If I thought it was politically motivated, that would bother me. I don't think this is politically motivated.
They do.
Oh, I know that they do.
It's very easy for them to say that.
Right. But you're talking about a young lady who came to St. Louis as an athlete and is leaving St. Louis in a wheelchair because of what is allegedly negligence on the part of the circuit attorney, which is I know that we're saying it's negligent, but that was the whole thing that she ran on. That was her platform. We're experiencing the logical end result of what she said she was going to do. She did exactly what she said she was going to do, and now we're paying the price. Yeah. So to me, no, somebody has to do something. And if you don't like it, Andrew Bailey's going to be up for election again. He's going to have to run for office. The people of St. Louis can vote against him if they'd like. The people of St. Louis can vote for or against Kim Gardner if they like. But really what needs to happen is, and this is the whole purpose of the government, is the safety of the people. Somebody needs to do their job. And Kim Gardner, by all accounts, in my opinion, is not doing her job. Therefore, Andrew Bailey needs to do his job and exercise the power that is in his ability to make sure that the circuit attorney does her job.
Well said.
Yeah, that was very well said.
Hannah, the YouTube poll, let's just do a little mid-show check-in on this question today.
All right. The poll is asking, do you believe that Kim Gardner ultimately will be removed from office? Vicky Long from our YouTube chat says, I chose yes, but I'm less than optimistic that it will happen. Scooter says, I don't think Gardner will be removed by Bailey's lawsuit. Carlos says, I chose yes. I think that there's too much overwhelming evidence to keep it from happening. Amy says, I voted no. I've lost all faith. She only got a slap on the wrist for her ethics violations. Info Dude from YouTube said, I voted no in the poll. As much as I believe she should be removed, I believe she will run out the clock. Like someone said above, she probably won't run again. Donna from Facebook says, yes, I believe she will be removed from office one way or another. I feel like she is a defense attorney and not a prosecutor. Kenny Mudd from Facebook says, I think there's too much money behind Kim Gardner. I don't think she will be removed. And listening to her press conference, somehow she still has some kind of support, even though she is grossly incompetent.
Should there be... I don't even know how to do this. How do you police, no pun intended, a press conference?
That was ridiculous.
I was listening to it.
Yeah.
We watched it.
Yeah, we carried
live.
it.
So I saw it with my eyes because we aired it on our show. And then I tuned in because Mark Reardon's all over this. So I was listening to his show on the way home. And it's worse listening to than it is seeing because the shot on TV was close enough to Kim Gardner that you couldn't see the people who were shouting. There was no second. There's not a lot of production. It's pop-up presser at the circuit attorney's office. There are plenty of reporters that are doing good work covering local news who were unable to ask questions to get to facts because Kim Gardner's supporters there created a hostile and intimidating environment for the press to do their job. Is the solution here that the press doesn't go to the press conferences? Because I'm actually kind of in favor of that. If she can't hold a press conference that is going to be done civilly and respectfully, don't give her the platform. Don't give her the cameras and the microphones and the written word to speak because she needs them if she wants to get her message out. And if I'm going there, I mean, see if Kevin Killeen's in the building and bored. Well, he's probably.
You want me to go check now?
Well, not like maybe in the break.
All right.
Because I would like to talk to him about his experience. Kevin Killeen was the one who got a question at the end and was being shouted down. You know, I'm curious of his thoughts on the issue at hand, but how does the press do their job in an intimidating environment, a purposely designed scenario where the people who are there to ask questions are being intimidated by people who are collected to be a voice in support of Kim Gardner? Well, I don't know that that's sustainable.
Well, and the other side of that is, too, the very first question that came was from one of those members of her group of supporters.
Yeah.
Not even I forget what paper they said that they represented, but not even necessarily a member of the press. It was one of her supporters that asked a completely... What's the professional?
Well, the question was essentially, what are you going to do about the racially motivated attacks against your office? So the first question that is asked is not one that is representative of the city of St. Louis, the people of St. Louis, the people who are visiting St. Louis, who want to be able to come to St. Louis and be safe. The first question is a defense of Kim Gardner, and it worded in a way that you would think puts the ball in the team for Kim Gardner. In my opinion, it just made her look dumb.
Yeah.
And out of control to the point where I'm looking at it from a non-Kim Gardner favorable position going, wow, you really thought you needed that, didn't you? You see this is going so poorly for you that you need this? Because if the facts are on your side, answer the questions. That is the Donald Trump way, not to make a comparison specifically of Donald Trump as a big... Is he coming in? What's the story?
Yeah, he said, I'll be right there.
Kevin Killeen. Okay, now what you need to do is get Ryan Wiggins to come stand over there and yell at him while I ask him.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ryan's going to heckle you. That'd be so funny.
He could handle it.
I know he could. I would, like, I'll buy a ticket to my own show to watch that. But to suggest when Donald Trump would be met by a combative press and potentially wherever he was going and talking, it was combative. He rolled up his sleeves and was like, let's go. Because he believed that the truth and the facts were on his side. I know several of you who are not Trump supporters just threw up in your mouth, but just swallow it and get on with your day.
He always did the same. Like, when you watched him, he always had the same, like, he would throw his hands up and he'd be like,
let's go.
Right.
Yes. And I mean, people would ask him questions and you could tell that his team was around him going, We have to get on the helicopter. President Trump. Get the people. Where's the Easter Bunny?
Right.
Get whatever holiday favorite character is available and scooch this president. Just herd him onto Air Force One or Marine One. Get him on the plane. He's got to go. Stop talking to the press. Kim Gardner, if the facts are on your side, listen to the questions and provide the facts. Should be that simple. Kevin Killeen brings those questions. Is he coming in right now?
Well, he said he was on his way, so...
Man, Brad has summoned Kevin Killeen. This is fantastic. Of KMOX, who was at that presser. We'll talk to him when we come back. Let's take a quick break and go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. And we want to know what you think. Do you believe that Kim Gardner ultimately will be removed from office? We'll get in some more of your comments at 2:45 when we provide the YouTube poll results. We are looking forward to talking to you and Kevin Killeen, who's just walked in the studio, when we come back. Don't go away.
Spider-Man's control and Batman with his fist. And clearly I don't see myself.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts.
If you're looking at new windows for your house, choose wisely. Mark Cox here for my friends at Window World. You want to go with a company you can trust. Ranked #1 in the number of windows sold in the country. That's according to Qualified Remodeler magazine. In just over 20 years in business, they've improved the look and obviously the thermal efficiency of over 70,000 customers in St. Louis. They're going to give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts and the glass breakage and the labor. It's a good product. Call them at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate. That's 314-993-1800. Window World won the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval. That's not easy. They rely on the expertise of their in-house engineers and their analysts and their product experts to give that seal of approval. That should matter to you as well. Call for your free estimate right now. Simply the best for less at Window World. 314-993-1800. windowworld.com.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home on the Illinois side of the river, you need a realtor that's going to help you win that transaction with the fastest sale, the highest dollar amount, and a really positive experience. It could be a very stressful process to go through selling your home. That's why you hired Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. Jen understands the Metro East, especially Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, Maryville, Troy, Collinsville. If you are looking in a kind of uncertain market right now for home buying prices, I've seen some articles are starting to go up again. You want to get that house listed with Jen Teskey. You want to position your home the best possible way with the least amount of an investment to make that house sell for the top dollar, which means you'll have that conversation with Jen Teskey about, should we fix this up? Should we take the time to paint? What should we do? She's going to navigate that process with you to make sure you're not spending money to fix your house up to sell that you don't need to spend, but also highlighting and presenting your home in its best light with her amazing staff and team to get that fast sale at top dollar. If you have considered selling your home, or if you are definitely looking for an opportunity to find the best realtor in the business, at 618-541-1010. You're going to call Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. 618-541-1010.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Don Chamberlain, best-selling author from right here in the St. Louis area, and I want to tell you about a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It can potentially give you more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and your principal is never at risk from market declines. Even people who are currently on track have shifted money to this strategy because it could increase their retirement income or may allow them to stop working years sooner than they expected. So if you're over 50 and want to learn how you could potentially get bigger retirement with less money, call and get the free copy of this brand new movie. That's a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth. I'll even cover the shipping and handling, no credit card required. 1-800-807-3838. That's 800-807-3838. 1-800-807-3838.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Make sure you're heating your home safely this winter with a heating system check. And for all other heating services, repairs, or if you need a new heating or HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Filtering the BS pushed by the mainstream media.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
This is your typical situation where a progressive Democrat in a liberal city has taken over and pretty much declared war on the police, and that has had profound effect on a lot of families. Police are afraid to do their job. They're afraid that the prosecutor would go ahead and prosecute them instead of the bad guys.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We are excited to have you here with us and extremely excited to have in the studio, in the flesh, Kevin Killeen, KMOX reporter. Kevin, thanks for coming in with us.
Well, it's an honor to have people excited to see me. I mean, I come home and my wife says, take out the garbage.
You can elaborate on this story and embellish all you want about how important you were today at 1:47 p.m. This is a big moment for us to have you in studio.
Really well, I guess you called me in because I was at that raucous Kim Gardner news conference.
I was sitting here. We saw it come on. We went and carried the thing live, and it seemed like the whole thing was set up to make Kim Gardner look good, and the press was put in the middle of what I would consider an intimidating and hostile environment. Makes it hard for you to do your job, I would assume.
Oh, no, it was a lot of fun.
This is how you know he's a pro. It's like, bring it on.
But I will say this, most politicians, when they have a news conference, they say, all right, let's get in a room that has good acoustics, and the hallway was real echoey, and let's have privacy where it's just the reporters and me, and I'll answer the questions, and it'll just be a back and forth. But it's Kim Gardner has repeatedly used her fan base as a buffer to kind of chime in, or like a peanut gallery.
They ran the show.
Not really. But they
did.
Show. No, I would say Kim Gardner ran the show, and then the questions were asked. But I knew there was a strong Kim Gardner contingent there when I walked up, and I was going through a group of men, and one of them said to me, "When are you going to tell the whole story, the whole truth?" And I didn't have anything on that said KMOX. He was just saying that to me as a reporter.
Yeah.
I almost felt like saying, "Well, do you know me or do you know my work?" But I thought,
it's
okay.
Your job.
And then there was another man there with a bullhorn before Kim Gardner came out, and he's with a bullhorn inside the civil courts building, echoing all throughout the marble hallway, saying, "She has a 90% conviction rate. Tell the truth." And I thought, that doesn't sound right. From what we're hearing, maybe she has a high conviction rate for the cases that actually aren't dropped.
Sure.
Or that she plea bargains.
You can get one at bat in a Major League Baseball game and bat 1,000.
Yeah. So anyway, then Kim Gardner came out, and she, to her credit, did say, "I could have done better.
Yeah.
I could have done better." But
she said she didn't.
It's not all my fault.
Do nothing. That there were things that she did. She said they made an oral motion to deny bond or bail or whatever bond, I guess.
Yeah, and I'll stick up for her on that because I said I don't know the difference between an oral written motion, but I talked to Brad Young, our KMOX legal correspondent, and he said, "Kevin, it's the same." Carries the same legal weight. If Kim Gardner made an oral motion to have this guy locked up for bond violations of home confinement, then it is on the judge to a certain extent that he decided, Judge Brian Hettenbach, to keep him on the streets.
Have they discovered documentation proving that she made those oral motions?
Well, here's where it gets kind of
Unfortunate for Kim Gardner. Kim Gardner.
The first case was dropped because she didn't have her act together to go to trial in time.
That's a problem.
And so all the records of that case that would have included the requests for bond revocation are closed. And I've had a spokesman for the circuit court say, Killeen, I can't give that to you. It would be a violation of the law. So she sort of headlines it and gives us a summary saying, I did make oral requests, but she's not releasing any records either.
So I would think, I'm absolutely no legal expert at all, but if you made those oral requests in a case that you weren't prepared to actually see through, would those requests not still be important requests to make for the next trial that he would have that she should be prepared for?
Yeah, he did go on to violate his home confinement about 50 times the second go-around. So
was he violating it at the time that he struck Janae?
Yeah, he was supposed to be at home with an ankle bracelet on.
And he wasn't.
He was not. No, he was just flaunting it. So that's the outrage. And then the Kim Gardner people, they got really mad at me when I said, can you get back the public's confidence at this time? Just sort of repeating the mayor's question. I was so surprised they were outraged at that. And I took it really that they weren't outraged at me, but that's how they feel about Tashara Jones at this point.
So they got problems.
They said to me, I hope you don't need us sometimes.
I heard that. That's what I was trying to...
And at first I thought, they said, I hope you don't meet us sometime, but it was need us. And I thought, you know what? That's what you would say to Kim Gardner. I hope you don't need us sometime because, you know, I'm not going to need them.
Yeah.
I think that was sort of like their connection to this outraged question. I hope she doesn't need us sometime. I hope you don't need us sometime.
So to explain to us, we're speaking with Kevin Killeen, a KMOX reporter, and was in that press conference with Kim Gardner last week. You got your question in. They shouted over the top of you.
For 45 seconds.
For 45 seconds. You did get your question out, and Brad kept going, he just quoted the mayor. He wasn't making an accusatory statement. He was saying, this is what the mayor said.
Yeah,
what do you think about that? That was a great question.
The mayor, well, it was all that was left. I was kind of rummaging through my junk drawer of my mind thinking what hasn't been asked yet. And she was probably going to let her supporters, because the one guy said, we answered the question for you. And I said, let the woman talk. I want to hear it from her. And so she did go on to say that if, you know, people have lost confidence in her, the mechanism for that is an election. You know, unelect me, in other words, but she's going to keep doing her job.
Yeah. There's also another mechanism out there for her effort as circuit attorney to be put on trial.
Yeah, you're referring to the Attorney General's effort?
Yeah.
To give her the heave-ho. Yeah, we talked to Andrew Bailey on Friday, and he told us that this week he's going to be asking the newly appointed judge in that Kim Gardner case to remove her from office immediately. And then like a preemptive strike and then hold the trial afterwards. And whether the judge does that is kind of doubtful, because I asked Bailey, aren't you concerned about riots, you know, given the Michael Brown and Stockley riot history we have here? And he said, well, I can't speculate on what might happen, but I'm focused. He used a funny phrase. He said, I'm myopically focused. Myopically focused on restoring law and order.
Kevin Killeen, you've been reporting for KMOX for how long?
My hair was dark and I had a spring in my step.
That was last week. What are you talking about?
28 years.
28 years.
I can't find honest work.
Well, you are a staple at KMOX, and people know your voice and they trust it. And it is very difficult. I don't know many people who do what you do anymore, especially on a local level, because everything there's angles everywhere. I don't know that you have an angle. I haven't figured that out yet. I know you personally from being a coworker of yours here, but I assume that you reported on the Michael Brown riots, that you understand what this entire city, St. Louis, is synonymous with Ferguson right now. A lot of people who may not have been here before correlate those two things together. And then you go to a press conference, there's intimidation and hostility there. Is it inevitable that if she were to be removed from office, that the city will get rowdy again?
Well, I've been wondering about that because on the one hand, you did have her base, all the progressives, including Mayor Jones on Friday, or was it Thursday, saying, you know, maybe it's time for you to do some soul searching, or some said it's time for you to resign. So I don't know if the full contingent would be outraged about that. And unlike Michael Brown, where you had someone killed, this would be someone removed from office. So it's not as upsetting as a offense, perhaps, in the eyes of people who might riot. I don't know.
The Janae story is such a sad story, and it's something that is really, it's a national news story now. You can't avoid that. But for people, there are a lot of people who don't come into St. Louis because they're terrified of it. They won't even know. And you make that decision and you just decide not to go into the city anymore, and then you go on about your life. We come downtown every day for work. We came down this morning for work. You said you were driving past Tucker. I spoke about that a little bit earlier in the show because I had to reroute my ride in, come off the Stan Musial Bridge, go up Tucker, come to the station. It was all taped off this morning. It was 10 a.m. on a Monday. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, there was a man killed dead on the sidewalk in front of the old Globe Democrat building, 700 Tucker, right across from the Shell station. And in the old days, you never had people shot and killed downtown. If there were, you would have had every news team in town up there taking pictures of it. It was just me and the Post-Dispatch, and I just happened on it because I was going that way, and I was asking people what's going on, and they pointed, and there was a man dressed in all dark lying on his back, and somebody said he had a bullet hole in his forehead, and the body was removed by the time I came back from my other assignment, and all that was left on the sidewalk was a little red stain, and people were going about their business buying gasoline at the Shell station. It's just like life has become very cheap in St. Louis.
Man, that's an understatement. Just the gas station up from that just last week was the carjacking at 6 a.m. or something on a business day, and a man was being carjacked. He shot the guy dead. I mean,
And then
this is very bold.
The case over the weekend by Slough, where the wrong way driver caused an accident that caused a car to flip over into the pavement below, and 4 people were killed, 2 others critically injured.
I talk on this show about how it seems like these occurrences are so common, so much that they kind of become wallpaper for people who are around St. Louis. Oh, that's just St. Louis, the murder capital of the world. You report on these things, so you're more involved in these storylines than probably anybody that I know because you're keenly aware of it. Is there a way to change it so that people start caring again, or is this just the ultimate outcome of so much crime?
Well, I think a lot of people are caring now that with the volleyball player case, because you can't come up, if you had to write a script of a more innocent person, a volleyball player, a girl with her whole life ahead of her.
Yeah.
So that's got the attention of everybody here and in Jeff City. And with this effort to recall Kim Gardner, when you have, fresh murders, you're saying, well, the question arises, well, was that somebody who was killed by another one of Kim Gardner's people who were out on some easy bond, and we don't know that, or this case with the car that flipped over the bridge. You hear about that and you wonder, is this tied into the whole sympathy for the outlaw culture that we've had since Kim Gardner was here?
Outlaw culture, man, that's for real. Do you think, we only got a minute left here, but do you think that this story getting national attention makes a difference this time around?
I don't know. I don't put much stock in national attention.
You're more a local news guy?
Well, I think we got to solve our own problems.
Yeah. Well, KMOX reporter, I keep wanting to say sports reporter because we always have Matt Pauly on. Do you report on sports too? We should have you come back sometime and do sports.
No, sports is the opium of the masses. I'm just a news guy.
Will you come back and kind of keep us updated on this?
Yeah, if we find out more about the Kim Gardner case. The next thing to watch for is when the Attorney General asks for her to get the heave-ho right away. Will the judge say yes, or will the judge say, let's have a hearing first?
Kevin Killeen with KMOX. Thank you so much. We'll be back with everybody in studio in a minute.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
No consensus on Lisa Brady, Fox News. That bottom line at the White House after a report. The U.S. Energy Department now agrees with the FBI that the COVID pandemic most likely began with a lab leak.
There is not a consensus right now in the U.S. government about exactly how COVID started. There is just not an intelligence community consensus.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby moments ago also saying a whole of government effort on finding the COVID origins ordered by President Biden continues. And he says the president believes that's important to prevent a future pandemic. Several House committees are also investigating. The Chinese government has accused the U.S. of smearing China, and a spokesperson says people should stop rehashing the lab leak narrative, suggesting it politicizes the issue. The U.S. is condemning the latest violence between Israelis and Palestinians. Kirby saying citizens cannot take the law into their own hands. This after a Palestinian gunman opened fire on two vehicles, killing an Israeli motorist after a rampage by Israeli settlers in a Palestinian town where two Israeli brothers had been killed yesterday. A former South Carolina attorney accused of killing his wife and son faces more legal trouble in the middle of his murder trial.
This new charge came after Alec Murdaugh testified on Friday. Authorities releasing few details, but Fox Carolina in Greenville, South Carolina reports the charges: possession of jailhouse contraband that stems from a book the defendant's sister passed to him in the courtroom earlier on in the trial.
Fox's Jonathan Seri, the defense, is expected to rest this afternoon after calling three more witnesses and trying to cast doubt on the crime scene investigation, including the method used by the coroner to estimate time of death. America is listening to Fox News.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Hang on to your hats this afternoon. Strong and gusty winds under partly sunny skies. There are mild winds, 68 for the high, but some of these wind gusts could push 50 miles per hour. Gusty winds this evening up until about 9 o'clock. Clear skies and a chilly 38. Tuesday, sunny, light winds, nice afternoon. Tuesday, 62, and Wednesday, partly sunny, 65. 49 for the high on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Every day, children throughout the Midwest are diagnosed with critical illnesses that would qualify them for a wish from Make-A-Wish. In fact, more than 75 children are waiting for a wish right now from our local chapter. You can help by becoming a volunteer for Make-A-Wish and assist in creating hope for local children facing overwhelming challenges. As a Make-A-Wish volunteer, you'll have a unique opportunity to see just how far your impact can truly go. Join the mission at makeawish.org/volunteer.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great. because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
If you need a new bath or shower in the new year, call my friends at Bath Fitter of St. Louis. Mark Cox here. We love our new shower and tub enclosure. It looks fantastic. No demolition, no mess, and a lifetime guarantee. Right now, they're having a sale for 20% off up to $1,000 or zero interest until 2028. That's 5 years. Call 636-338-1648. That's 636-338-1648. Bath Fitter of St. Louis.
Spring is the perfect time for a refresh, and at Ashley, you'll find the pieces you love. Shop now with financing options for every budget. Get 60 months no interest with no down payment. Ashley's biggest event of the year is going on now. Shop hot deals starting at $199. Plus, shop Ashley Sleep Doorbuster mattresses. Your choice Comfort Queen mattress, now only $399. Text 79975 to schedule your appointment today. The Orange event is happening now. In-store only at Ashley.
Right now, during Staples Sit-a-thon, select chairs are up to 50% off, like the Union & Scale Essentials Mesh Back Task Chair. Now just $89.99 at Staples. In-store only offer ends 2/18 while supplies last. Staples, the working and learning and saving store.
Celebrating 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Thanks for being a part of it.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, I mean, day after day, it seems that he breaks precedent after precedent. This is another one of the promises he made to the holdouts to give him the speakership. According to Matt Gaetz himself, this is one of the things that Kevin McCarthy promised, to release all of this footage. Of course, he's not released it. He's released it specifically to Tucker Carlson, who can edit it and doctor it any which way. Look, I understand why the other media are asking for the same thing. The truth is, this doesn't belong in the public domain for anybody.
Isn't it hilarious that everyone's like, I want to see the videos. We should see the Well, yeah, duh. We've been asking this the whole freaking time. Tucker Carlson has been granted access to, it's like 400 or 44,000 hours or something of January 6th footage. And Kevin McCarthy's like, here you go. Have at it. Tell us what you think. And now the media is like, well, you should share it with everybody. Well, yes. Yes. But you didn't care until Tucker got it. That's the ridiculous part here. And if you only care now because Tucker has it, then I doubt that you care about having this and seeing it for a real good, honest reason. Now, if you think that Tucker's going to see this footage and everybody else isn't going to see this footage, and you want to be able to be a check on Tucker to make sure that the truth really gets out there, why didn't you want to do that media press to the January 6th committee that was spoon-feeding the country through hired producers from primetime television shows to make sure that the country consumed all of these things, bits and pieces, by a completely and totally one-sided group of people appointed by Nancy Pelosi? Why did you not want to check their work? Oh, it's because you're on the same side. So, of course, you want to check Tucker's work. But I bet you're pretty bored. Like, can you imagine how many people are thinking, oh, my God, please don't make me watch 44,000 hours of this? In the other side of the media, they don't want to watch it. They just want to check Tucker and make sure that he's not, as he said, editing it and doctoring it in a way that maybe shows a different narrative than what's been out there. Maybe what Tucker's doing right now is the antidote to what has been one-sided and lopsided for so long. I'm very excited to see what Tucker comes out of this experience. As we played last week when Tucker was talking about his producers getting a hold of us, he says, we have a great team of producers, the smartest producers on the job. And I just was thinking about the producer standing in the room going, I'm not on that staff. It's like, well, now you know. Brad, what do you think about all these other media entities going, well, you need to share those with us as well?
Well, the first thing is like, this guy's like, he could edit it whatever way he wanted. And that to me screams out, I'm trying to get ahead of the story because we're not going to like what you're not, what comes out of these videos isn't going to be what we were told out of the J6 Commission. But so why do they want them? Are they going to edit them or are they going to show them? Because like theoretically, if they get the videos and Tucker gets the videos and neither side does any editing to show a certain angle, they should show the exact same thing. One
political side has had a monopoly on this information for so long. And Nancy Pelosi, in and of the J6 community itself, if you want fairness, if you want there to be an equal treatment and a good pursuit for truth in the releasing of these tens of thousands of hours of footage, why did you not have a problem with Nancy Pelosi handpicking, because it was a select committee, all people who want to see Donald Trump burn, to carry on a production for the country? And I say, so all the eyes could see and they could spoon feed. I don't think that very many people were signing up for that reservation. Not people sitting around waiting to see what the J6 committee was going to say next. Everybody knew what they were going to say. And nobody was challenged. There was nobody that, you know what, people would have tuned in to see the best that the Democrats have to offer and the best that the Republicans have to offer and footage. Everybody would have been locked into that. So if you were, say going for ratings, that's what you would have done. But they aren't going for ratings. They're going for narrative. They're going for a purpose-driven investigation where the conclusion has been drawn when the select committee was being put together. So then they just need to stitch together the different kinds of testimony, the different types of hearings in order to prove the point that they set out in the very beginning to do, which is what every court trial case does every single day in this country, except for the fact that you have two parties present. And that's how you trust the outcome of it. That's how justice is served. They weren't interested in that before. And when you look at how these other places that are requesting this footage right now handled the January 6th hearings, they'd be on prime time on television or taking up days of broadcasting so they could show everything. And it seemed like we probably had 6 different instances where, like, the final J6 committee testimony taking place. And then there were 8 more. People were not interested in it because everybody has already drawn their conclusion on the instance, one way or the other. I think both sides are misinformed because there's never been a clean and full pursuit of exposure of truth that shows, some of these things that Donald Trump said at this speech. Like, I remember listening to that speech and I remember thinking, this is not the speech I want to hear the president giving. That doesn't mean that he incited a riot. It was taking place before he was even saying some of the stuff that they accused him of doing to incite the riot. But none of that matters because everybody already has their opinion on Donald Trump. And that's what it all comes back to again. It's always all about Donald Trump. And Tucker Carlson has the opportunity to add a lot of context to a lot of the things we've done, and he's going to have the ability to show people with the actual footage, the actual surveillance footage that either proves that the J6 committee was right or proves that it was wrong. And everybody will have to choose whether or not they trust Tucker to do that. And I bet that people are about as divided on that as they are Donald Trump. Ryan, what do you think that the people who are not invested in the J6 committee offering a counterpoint to anything there? I mean, was there ever a time where, I'm so fortunate that I've forgotten his name. Adam Kinzinger. Dang it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. And Liz Cheney. Were they ever in disagreement with their Democrat counterparts on this? There was never a heated back and forth. They were all in. What does the media want to do now with these videos that Tucker isn't going to do?
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, from the get-go, Nancy Pelosi locked out any dissent. So it wasn't even about party, but it was mostly Democrats, and then you had a couple of people from the Republican side who wouldn't challenge anything. So that's what she did, and we all saw that that's what was going on, and therefore the whole country went into their corners, and nothing really happened concerning it. I would actually like to see that change now. I would like to see Kevin McCarthy release all the footage to anybody who wants it. I am fine with that. If you wanted to do it a little bit ahead of time to Tucker Carlson to give him a running start because, like you said, they've been behind on this whole thing, that's also fine. But give him a week or two and then release it to every single media outlet or anybody who wants it. Make the whole thing publicly available. And I think maybe we would start to get to the bottom. But we've gone through such a process already that nobody really even cares anymore. Everybody's mind's made up. Nothing's going to change that now.
Hannah, are you interested? When it comes to January 6th, that would have been 2020. What year did you graduate high school?
2020.
Did you take any of that in? Like, did you know that it was happening? Was it a big deal? I mean, it was in the middle of a million other things going on in the world, I suppose.
No, I wasn't really honed into the news at that point. And
I guess do it in January 2021. January 6th, 2021.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, which is crazy.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get away with that now.
No. No.
I don't understand how this story continues. I mean, the finality of the J6 committee, which basically ultimately said, Donald Trump is a danger to the future of this country and he should not be able to be president. I don't think that they were able to successfully, legally have a situation where he was, Trump was charged with anything. But the whole point was to keep Donald Trump from being eligible to run for office once again. They weren't capable of doing that. And it's very important for Donald Trump's presidential aspirations for there to be some counterpoint to what the overarching narrative has been on Donald Trump's involvement, responsibility, lack of responsibility when it comes to what took place on January 6th. This is not the reason to do it, but I probably haven't really thought fully, and am now, about the impact that what Tucker Carlson will find and show on his program, which I do believe will ultimately end up in other people having access to it. I think Tucker's getting the jump. How he's able to position this will greatly affect Donald Trump's ability to be successful becoming the next presidential nominee.
Yeah, I mean, this is a full-on. The J6 Commission was a full-on broadside to Donald Trump's campaign for 2024. It was when you look at what they were trying to do at the end of the day, that's all that mattered, was damaging his reputation for that. They didn't even have to prove legally or prevent him legally from running. They just needed to damage him and ding him enough to keep him out of office.
And keep the narrative up.
Yep.
I mean, from before Donald Trump was even the president in 2016, in that election year, they boldly lied about him. They knew that they were lying, and they did it to create a cloud of questionable behavior, if not nefarious behavior, that surrounded him. And then they just keep reporting on these same things that end up, they find just the crack in the door that is a piece of teeny tiny evidence that they blow into something that is entirely not accurate to what Donald Trump did or has been involved in, so that they can create a cloud of concern that you are going to encounter every time you think about Donald Trump. And it's, here's another story again. And then I've said this before, the baggage that exists around Donald Trump is a lot. Yeah. It is a heavy lift to think 4 more years of Donald Trump. It's not really his baggage. It's been placed around him and he has to take it with him everywhere he goes. That certainly isn't fair. I would be furious if I were Donald Trump and had to shoulder that burden all over the place, knowing that it's not my baggage. It's been placed on me. And you got to be able to win with that heavy lift. It's completely unfair. It would enrage anybody who is sane in their mind that they had to deal with that. But it's still there. It's still part of the equation and the conversation. And he has to learn how to carry that baggage that's been put on him and change people's minds. Otherwise, he can't win. If he does win, he can affect change like nobody else. And truly, him not being able to run for a re-election is going to make his presidency look very different than most people who are elected, because they're thinking about, here's what I got to do to prove that I deserve 8 years instead of 4. Well, he's had 4. I do not believe a lot of people are saying it's got to be Donald Trump this time, and then we can have Ron DeSantis for 8. I don't necessarily believe that a non-Trump eligible for re-election Donald Trump 4 years is going to make the Republican Party get the next 8. I don't think people are. Look at the prosperity Donald Trump was able to give this country in 2016 through those 4 years, even actually through COVID. And it wasn't enough to give us Donald Trump once again. It gave us Joe Biden. And what tends to happen is our country enjoys prosperity under good economic principles that are not of the party of the Democrats. We start doing well. We start doing really well. And then we think, oh, we can dabble in that progressive heart on your sleeve type of policy that the left brings. It makes you feel good inside, and then it makes you hurt 1 year into that administration. Let's take a quick break. The YouTube live chat poll. Do you believe that Kim Gardner ultimately will be removed from office? Yes or no? Your vote there, and Hannah will read more of your responses at 2:45. So stick around for that. Leave your vote and on the YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and your comment in the comment sections. We'll be back after this. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Just across the bar, my seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar.
Hey guys, I'm David Spade. Applause.
I'm Dana Carvey. Are we the host of something?
Oh, Fly on the Wall. No, Dana, and I would never say this, one of Apple, Spotify, and Amazon's top podcasts of 2022. I'm just reading that. I would never say that.
We both got our break on a little thing called Saturday Night Live.
Each week we sit down with friends of the show and share stories and BS about the good old days of SNL. You can find Fly on the Wall, a presentation of Cadence 13 on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Shopping for flooring made easy with Michael's Flooring Outlet, that local flooring company, family owned and operated with multiple locations across the St. Louis area, helping you navigate buying flooring. Definitely one of those things that you don't really know anything about or paying any attention about until you decide I need flooring. And then you become kind of a quasi-expert on the issue. And you can do so when you go to a place like Michael's Flooring Outlet and partner with the customer sales staff there that's going to help you talk about your budget, talk about the aesthetic that you're looking for, update you on the latest technology in flooring that helps you, with having the pets in your house or maybe the kids or the grandkids. Your flooring needs to be able to stand the test of all of those challenges that are going to be brought on it and make it so that you can love it and enjoy it every day when you get that new Michael's Flooring Outlet flooring in your home. Reach out to them and go to the place that's going to give you quality, that's going to give you value and great customer service. It's all at Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can shop online right now by visiting igotfloored.com.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years. Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO. Easy to remember phone number. Or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
People who shop at Diamonds Direct for diamonds and engagement rings can't believe the prices.
They blew everybody else out of the water.
I saved between $1,500 and $2,000. Came here first, got a really good price, went around everywhere else, and it wasn't really even close.
I'd looked online. I'd actually shopped a couple of local stores. They could not begin to touch the size, the quality, or the pricing.
Crazy the deal that we got. Couldn't believe I was able to get into a ring like this.
Of all the places that I visited, everybody from mom and pop shops to wholesalers to local franchisees, nobody could compete from a pricing standpoint with Diamonds Direct.
It's because Diamonds Direct is a true direct diamond importer with special access to the world's most exquisite diamonds. No middleman markups and a commitment to beat any price, anywhere, anytime.
Whether it be duty-free in the Caribbean or other countries, Diamonds Direct prices have beaten everything I've looked at.
At least 20% lower than what we had been looking at other stores.
They blew everybody else out of the water.
Get the engagement ring of her dreams at the price you deserve. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so
very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000, that's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
If you love good bourbon, we still have tickets left for our whiskey event this Thursday, March 2nd at the Clayton Wine House. The tickets include appetizers and tastings from some of the finest vendors on the market. That's 971talk.com/events.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
It's a slow jam for a Monday.
Well,
I never know what the mood's gonna be. I don't know.
No. This is not your fault. I sent this to you?
Yes.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the song. Just doesn't. Usually the thing that makes me send you a song when I don't know it at all is like how peppy it makes me feel.
I think you wanted this for a Wiggins American segment.
Did I? I never send it to you with requests for one. What is this called?
Low.
By who?
Kerosene hat.
Kerosene hat.
See, now, this is good because... Somebody give this man a hug.
The only thing that would make this better is if it was like an hour too long.
When I give this...
It is a long song. It's 5 minutes and 31 seconds.
These requests to Hannah, I just take... I did not send this to you.
Yes,
no way.
you did.
Did I send it to you on Twitter?
Yes.
You were having a bad day, and you're like, now, that is what
ago?
people need to hear.
That's not likely.
I would not have found this on my own.
I know. I believe you. What I don't believe is me and my judgment. How fast? I gotta go through. I'm looking.
I'm having a bad day. The people need to hear some kerosene hat.
Where's the strip polka song that I sent you?
No, I haven't put that in
Have
yet.
you pulled
That's a
that?
Friday song.
That is a Friday song. What were you people doing in the 40s? I need to know. I need to know more details about what Grandma and Grandpa were up to in the 40s because.
Woo!
Was it an Andrews Sisters song?
It was.
Yes. Strip polka. Google lyrics. Because holy smokes. I'm listening to it, and you should have seen my children's faces in the car because I saw the song title "Strip Polka," and I'm always thinking, "Oh, my 2023 mind is in the gutter," and I'm like, "No, I was spot on. Actually, this is filthy,
worse than I thought."
Yeah, you were sending me quotes from it. If you know the song "Strip Polka," then you know here's making whoopee.
Ooh.
Freddie Martin Scatterbrain.
Oh no, way up. Way up.
Keep
from
going,
that.
keep going.
Way up.
Polka. I want to see the video.
Dance Monkey.
Is that a command or a song name?
No, it would be the name of a very popular song. Let's see here.
I wish there was a way on Twitter to just see images sent.
Media and scroll through.
Yes.
I know, I tried that. It just didn't work. Okay, we're going to Disney World in May, the first weekend of May. Here's a story about somebody who got on an airplane from the New York Post. A woman trapped on a crowded plane next to a passenger consuming an entire tray of barbecue took to social media earlier this week to vent her frustration. The sticky situation has ignited yet another debate about airplane etiquette as travelers struggle to cope in an era where the sky appears to be the limit when it comes to in-flight idiocy. This guy was eating a rack of ribs.
Nice.
In the middle seat. On a
Wiggins,
plane.
that would be you.
Hannah, I'm telling you what, I thought to myself, does Ryan Wiggins see anything wrong with this?
Ooh, man. I guess I question less about the eating of the ribs and more about how he got them there. Because I want to know how he
Exactly
got
my
the
point.
ribs there.
Brad, do you see anything wrong with eating ribs in the middle seat on a plane, let alone any seat?
Yes.
Why?
Because that's gross. I mean, that's not what a plane flight is for. It's not for, like, not noshing on your ribs that you didn't get a chance to eat.
Finger foods?
In the middle aisle where there's people around you and you're not thinking, like,
I would jump off the plane if stranger dude sitting next to me is eating sauced ribs and licking his fingers. I would have to,
how about this?
Air Marshal, just end me now.
Imagine,
Take me down.
Imagine him tapping you on the hand saying, excuse me, I need to go wash my hands.
You don't like to watch that anywhere, though.
Nobody does.
Right?
No,
Not on a
no,
plane,
no,
just
no, no.
anywhere.
Don't put this on me. Nobody wants to sit and watch somebody eat ribs. Am
I
I
don't know.
right?
If you're at a barbecue event or something, you're going to see that. It's no big deal.
No, that's different. You said you're going to see that if you're at a barbecue event.
Yeah.
This is an airplane where other people aren't even eating. If you were at a barbecue event and people are eating ribs, that is a thing that takes place there. Like an oyster thing, or like a crawfish boil or whatever. Like all of these different types of things that have foods that are kind of not, sit down at Applebee's, and ribs are for sure. But that is a different setup. Do you want to sit down and just watch somebody eat ribs?
Not really.
Of course you don't.
But my point is that you're already prone to not like that.
No, that's not fair, Ryan, because you're putting on me the fact that there is something about me that dislikes the thought of sitting next to somebody eating ribs and licking their fingers.
On an airplane.
That's not a me thing. That's an
That's
everybody
everybody.
thing.
Yeah,
Am I
probably.
crazy?
No, I mean, I'm just trying to contextualize, to find some way in which I might be okay with
Let's
that.
contextualize how I'm the weird one here, sitting next to this person eating ribs on an airplane.
Well, you wouldn't like it just to be sitting next to somebody eating that at regular lunch, though, right?
No, I wouldn't care. Like,
You
if
wouldn't
we were
care,
if
okay.
at Applebee's and someone wants to order ribs,
I just thought
and
that
I'm
was
eating a grilled chicken
a
salad,
thing that you were against in general. You just you didn't like the meat on the bone part of it.
that's me.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit there and eat ribs at
Okay.
a meal, but I don't care if anybody else does. I don't care about the cow. I don't care about the ribs. I don't want to put the bone in my mouth. I don't care about your mouth. You can eat whatever you want.
Okay.
I've always said that.
2:00 hour tomorrow is rib hour.
Not here.
No, this is not. Yeah, this is not a dinner situation.
I'm really trying to find a situation in which I do support this guy, and I just really can't. I don't know. I don't know that eating sloppy ribs on the plane is acceptable in any way. So I have to side with you here.
What is okay to bring onto a plane and eat?
Peanuts.
Peanut allergies?
Well, yeah, people might have
Just as
peanut
long
allergies.
as you
but-
rub your hands on all the seats
But
when you're
my,
done.
my thing is this: it's like snack foods
They actually stopped handing out peanuts on
because
a plane
of peanut
because of
allergies.
allergies.
That's unbelievable.
Chex Mix now.
Whatever, but snack food like that, I think is okay to eat. I don't think it's okay to eat a salad on a plane unless everybody's having a meal at the same time.
Why would you want to?
I don't. You know what? Because I think the reason
I'm trying
people
to think if I've eaten a salad on a plane. I don't know.
The reason people do it is because for whatever reason they're traveling, busy schedule, bang, they got on the plane, they had to go. And that's the time that they had to eat their dinner or whatever it is. But to me, it's not a dining experience, and therefore you should eat snack foods unless, the plane is serving foods, an in-flight meal. Okay, then you eat your dinner on that tray or whatever. But dang, man, like I said, snack foods, so, maybe vegetables, carrots, things like that. Stuff that you can just take out that doesn't affect everybody else. You wouldn't like carrots because they make noise.
I would say that carrots, like things that other people can hear you eating. Are you having a problem with this?
I have my headphones in from the second I board the plane to the second I get off the plane for multiple reasons, but one of the main ones being I cannot hear people eat.
If someone's sitting
I'm
next
thinking
to you
about
snapping carrots.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I don't like the noises.
Here's the thing, though. There is not a food out there that you can eat on a plane when nobody else is eating that if you're sitting by them, you can't hear.
What makes this story the absolute worst is that he's in his own party in the middle seat doing it.
Yeah.
If it's you and you're traveling with, if it's a 2-person seat or if it's 3 and the people in your row are your people, I almost don't really. Yeah, and you just put it in and go.
Yep. Let it deflate.
Just put it in
Perfect.
there and it disappears.
Suck it in through a straw.
If you're sitting in a row and it's just your people, I almost don't care if you're eating ribs in that context. The thought of licking fingers and stuff, but people do that anyway. People are so gross. But to sit down next to somebody and eat, like, I don't know that there is really like a dinner that you could sit down in the middle and have that wouldn't be awkward. This is next level awkward.
Have you ever been to a restaurant that's not really big and they try to maximize the amount of table space that they have, and you end up sitting next to somebody that may be at technically a different table?
Like a gastropub?
Maybe.
I mean, that's like a style of restaurant.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of places in the city that are like this too, because they're not very big, try to put a lot of tables in. You end up sitting right next to somebody that, even if you're not at the same table, you're really close to them, and technically you could hear their entire conversation, they could hear yours. I would say it's probably similar to that, where you never really want to be eating that close to somebody in any context.
Yeah.
Let alone a plane where you really are just shoulder to shoulder, maybe with a stranger. There's not much you can do to make that a good dining experience for anybody.
I'm not going to like anybody chewing next to me no matter what the circumstance is, so I feel like it's not totally fair for me to give my opinion on this, but ribs are messy and gross and heavy for a plane ride.
I think it's better if what you're eating has a fork involved.
Yeah, finger foods just probably aren't
so
the
that your
best.
hand isn't making contact with the food in your mouth.
Or if you could eat it right out of the bag, like those, like the chip things, you just kind of pour them in your mouth, right? Is that okay? I'm going to be sitting next to one of you, so.
Gosh dang it.
Yeah, Brad, you're taking that
This
one
is
for the team.
ridiculous. I have to share a room with them. Somebody else is sitting next to him on the plane.
Oh, it's a king size room too.
Those goes.
Yeah. I sleep just like in whatever I eat, I just kind of finish as I'm falling asleep and just kind of sleep in it. Is that cool?
But I'm going to wake up and be like, Ryan, why is there chocolate on my face?
I sleepwalk too.
Disgusting. Whereas Molly would say, ew, disgusting. She was coming up to my feet last night and she was grabbing my toes.
She says that?
Well, so this is how this story goes. This is what happens when you're a 20-month-old with a 13-year-old brother. She picked her nose one time, or was like itching her nose or something like that. And my son goes, ew, disgusting. Molly, stop. And then she does it again and goes, sticks her finger in her nose and then points at him and she's like, ew, disgusting. And then the 13-year-old boy thinks that noses and boogers and a little baby saying you disgusting is the funniest thing ever. So then he trained her to do it.
Oh.
So if she did it once, she did it 20 times last night. I had my feet up in my recliner. I didn't have any socks on. I don't have disgusting feet. I bathed that day. And she walks up to my feet, grabs my feet, and just puts her nose on it and goes, ew, disgusting. And then she runs away and spins in 3 circles and does it again and again and again. I'm like, all right, you're starting to hurt my feelings. Molly, stop. My feet are fine. 13-year-old brother. All of the things. It's the coolest toy he's ever had.
Oh, he's loving it.
It's unbelievable. Eating ribs on a plane next to strangers. Ew, disgusting.
Yep.
So gross. Let's take a quick break. We'll get to the poll results when we return here. Ryan says you guys sound like a bunch of people who don't travel often. Sometimes the plane is the only place you can sneak a meal in. Ryan, I don't travel as much as I wish I could. I don't have to travel for business. I understand needing to eat a meal. Let's not do the ribs. Let's bring it down to like a sub sandwich or something that you can eat, that you can get done with, that you don't have to wipe. Oh, gosh. Wash your hands off your mouth.
Wipe.
And be stuck in the middle of a seat. You're going to have to ask someone to move if you need to wash your hands. You just squirt some of that hand sanitizer and call it a day. Gross. Let us know what you think about this and the YouTube live chat poll. Do you believe that Kim Gardner ultimately will be removed from office? We'll let you reflect on this with this amazing song that apparently I picked. And I'm going to go check my DMs right now to see if I don't know what I'm talking about, because I'm pretty sure I don't. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Everything seems like a dream, and life's a scream.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Don Chamberlain, best-selling author from right here in the St. Louis area, and I want to tell you about a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It can potentially give you more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and your principal is never at risk from market declines. Even people who are currently on track have shifted money to this strategy because it could increase their retirement income or may allow them to stop working years sooner than they expected. So if you're over 50 and want to learn how you could potentially get bigger retirement with less money, call and get the free copy of this brand new movie. That's a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth. I'll even cover the shipping and handling, no credit card required. 1-800-807-3838. That's 800-807-3838. 1-800-807-3838.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Underlaw, we're looking for brave clients who've been injured and are ready to stand beside us in our fight to improve the safety of our community.
Call Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brenton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brenton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to brentonvision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals and your resolutions, Brenton Vision is here to help. Call them today at 314-375-2020. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. That's 314-375-2020. Or schedule right now at brentonvision.com.
Hi, it's Scott and Andrea from Best Buy Flooring. Andrea, what are you doing on that pogo stick?
Scott, I'm springing into savings at Best Buy Flooring.
Right, because we have new spring deals on carpet, luxury vinyl, ceramic tile, carpet tile, laminate, sheet vinyl, and hardwood.
Don't forget free financing for qualified purchasers.
2 locations, 7301 North Lindbergh in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West US Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois. Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
One of the most outstanding political reporters in the country, my friend Selena Zito, who's been visiting with DeSantis in Florida, also been to East Palestine, is going to join us Monday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I'm trying to not go into a whole diatribe on Madonna right now. I'm just going to say, I'm thinking it, you're thinking it, we're all thinking it, moving on. It's a good
That's
song,
fair.
though. Ryan, can you explain what we've discovered? And by that, we, I mean you.
Absolutely. So that song, I still don't know the
Not
name
the
of the
song.
song.
The last bumper.
Not the Madonna song.
If you were listening prior to this segment, we had some bump music because Hannah is the best DJ when it comes
Well,
to...
maybe not anymore.
No. This makes total sense. She picks all the music, and we get compliments all the time. People say all the time, the Annie Frey Show has the best bump music. Thank you, Hannah. The last song, and I send her requests, but sometimes they don't show up for days or weeks, and sometimes they're on the next show. She played a song before, and I'm like, what is this? It was super melancholy. And she's like, Annie, you requested it. And I'm like, I don't think that I would. Ryan, you're sleuthing.
Okay.
He consulted with Kevin Killeen, and he got to the bottom of the story.
Kevin Killeen pops in and goes, "Oh no, actually,
As a
no.
matter of fact.
No, that's not true." Okay, Brian on our YouTube chat said that song is from an album by Cracker called Kerosene Hat. When he said that, I said, "Oh, wait a minute now. You wanted the song Low because you said something about Low in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was, but you were looking for the song Low by Cracker." Which apparently is on the album Kerosene Hat. Something got lost in translation. And we ended up with whatever that song was, which I still don't know.
Low
but it was
by Kerosene Hat.
No,
What?
still no. Low by Cracker, which we just played in the break. I guess you're probably a little bit too young for the song, but everybody who's of our age knows that song. So it makes sense that Annie would have sent you that one, but somehow whatever that song was, you took from the album Kerosene Hat, which I don't even know that you messed it up, but something, yeah.
All the words that she
Yes.
consumed were all correct, and I did
Right.
request it. I'm looking for the screenshot so we can get to the very bottom of it. I'm
Okay.
scrolling through and looking at all these songs that I requested. I'm like, oh, these are all really good songs.
Yeah.
I want to listen to all these. Coolio, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, yeah, man, I forgot about that one.
I know.
Everybody remembers Gangster's Paradise.
That's why whenever I'm looking at these or listening to these songs and they pop up, the ones I usually send are always, oh, yeah. I hear it on the 90s channel, and I'm like, we got to get that back in the circulation.
What was the other one you mentioned? Your Woman by somebody. We all went, oh, yeah.
Sometimes she'll send me a screenshot and I'll put it in the next show. Sometimes I like to wait and put it in until she forgets about it, and then she'll be like, "Oh yes,"
And it always
I
makes
did
me
ask
laugh.
for that.
Yeah, which just happened. Only I didn't ask for that.
Your Woman by the band White Town.
Are we allowed to do stories from STL NPR?
I'll allow it.
Could have asked maybe on the break, but here we are. From Charizard to Mimikyu? I don't know. NPR staff's favorite Pokemon memories on Pokemon Day. Is it Pokemon Day?
I don't know, but
I don't know.
I'm approving of that too.
Why don't you guys know?
Let me look it up. Pokemon Day.
Let me Yahoo it.
Pokemon Day is February 27th. Today just happens to be February 27th.
Happy Pokemon,
Happy Pokemon Day, everybody.
Anybody in here have a favorite Pokemon?
I like Magikarp.
I don't know one single Pokemon.
You couldn't if your life depended on it. If your life depended on it, you couldn't name a Pokemon? I mean, everybody knows the main one.
Yeah. Nobody can pick.
Yellow.
Yellow, yes. Real cute with the little tail and the white yellow and the black. You'll know it when you hear it.
No, it's right here. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Do you have
Pokemon Pikachu?
Pikachu! You?
Doug Trio.
Oh, yeah?
What?
Is that the evolution of a different Doug?
It's the evolution of Dig Dug.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
What?
I'm Googling. What?
Doug Trio.
Oh. I just Googled it.
I like Magikarp because
That
Magikarp is strong
that
in the
is-
card game.
That is the least. Do you know what you're talking about?
I think I know enough to
the
know that
opposite.
what I just said is not
It's
true.
the opposite.
Yes.
We played Pokemon Go in our family a lot during. Well, before when it first.
When was that?
Magikarp used Splash.
It first came out in 2016, and I know this because this is why I downloaded Pokemon Go. Well, first of all, my brother, who's in his mid-30s, yeah, I'm talking about you. He was huge into Pokemon when it was a huge thing, like late 90s, early, I don't know, whenever that was. Shut up. In 2016, my 6-year-old was born, and we went to the Ozarks, and we had a stretch of 100+ degree weather that summer, day after day after day after day. And after she was maybe 6 weeks old or 7 weeks old, and we went to the Ozarks, And there were a lot of things that we did outside. It was too hot for for Evelyn to go outside as a little baby. So we would go touristy things, and I would sit in the car when it was running and play on my phone so that the baby didn't have to go out in the heat if it was an outdoorsy type of a thing. And Pokemon Go was a news story everywhere because everybody was doing it. So I decided, all right, I got nothing else to do. I was spending, over the course of that vacation, hours in the car. I'll download it because I was making fun of it hardcore on my show on Saturdays. I'll download it and I'll see what it's about. And by the end of the trip, I had everybody's phone had Pokemon Go downloaded. We were Team Yellow. My son was playing on my phone. Loved it.
You were Team Yellow?
Yeah.
I have never met another Team Yellow person. I'm so excited.
I think that there is something psychological behind that.
It is.
Because I think red and blue are the popular ones. It's like, no, I think I can handle being yellow. And
yes.
That's why you picked it, and that's why I picked it. But we played it, and then we ended up playing it a lot during COVID because we would put everybody in the Pacifica and not be able to go anywhere else. And we would drive around for hours. We'd let the kids watch movies on the minivan screens and let them play Pokemon. And it was our entertainment when we couldn't go anywhere else or do anything else. So I actually know a lot about Pokemon. I haven't thought about it in a long time, but I did not know that today was Pokemon Day. And I'm wondering if Pokemon still has the same sachet, I should say.
I think so.
I think it does. And I think it does with like older generations now. I say older generations, but generations like your brother's age, people that grew up with it.
He's ancient.
Yeah. Not as old as Ryan, but still.
Close. He's also younger than me.
I think there's that nostalgia factor to it, and they still enjoy it.
There's a lot of comments coming in that I don't understand at all.
Are they speaking of Pokemon?
I hope so.
Do they have... So there is a Pokemon...
I hope so.
If I was...
Somebody said, what is Dig Dug? It's Diglett. He's right. Dig Dug is a video game.
Dig Dug's a video game. That's what I thought. I'm like, well, maybe.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that was a Nintendo game.
I'm not very good with Pokemon. I just thought of the most obscure one I could come up with.
That is...
I played Barbies.
What's your favorite Barbie?
Barbie.
Skipper. What's her name?
Kipper.
Skipper.
It is Skipper.
Is Skipper Barbie's sister?
I think so.
I always really resonated with like the little sisters of things because I had a bigger sister. But I think, for instance, the Babysitters Club was huge as a story, like a series of books when I was young. And my sister bought or got somehow acquired all the Babysitter Club's books, but she wouldn't let me read them.
Ooh.
And I remember I could see the shelf where they were all lined up there. I was like, I would like to one day be able to read those. No, I wasn't allowed to read them. And she was like, there's a Little Sisters book series that you can read. So, and I started collecting those.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever read a Babysitter's Club book.
Me neither.
Did you read, not Boxcar, what is
The Hardy Boys?
The Hardy Boys. Is that comparable?
Mystery solving. Was Babysitter's Club mystery solving
Don't
books?
rub it in. Why would I know? I just
I don't
told
know.
you I never could. The
I
Little
never read it
Sister
either.
ones were all about
All
the
I know
play.
is the Hardy Boys would solve mysteries.
All the Little Sisters books were just about big sisters that wouldn't let them read books. Just like, here, read that.
Just another page of how to not let your sister read this book.
Yeah. But did you read any popular series when you were...
When I was in grade school, the only fiction books I remember reading are, I kid you not, 1984 and the book with all the kids on the island. It's a famous book.
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
I remember Lord of the Flies.
Did you have to read that for school?
Yeah, but I loved it. So I just kind of got into it.
Yeah. You just kept rereading the same book?
Well, I started looking into, that's when I really got into sci-fi, because I'm like, ooh, 1984, this is about like thought police. I love this, and I'm in 5th grade, and nobody understands what I'm talking about.
What did you read? Anything?
Not really. I was playing the crick kind of kid.
Yeah, we did that too. But there was
I almost asked you what the crick was.
The creek.
It's what the people who actually play in creeks call the creek. What did you read any series or anything when you were younger?
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Loved that.
Charlie loves those. Charlie
Yeah.
He's read all of them. He has multiple copies of some of them. I don't know why.
Goosebumps. I liked reading those.
Goosebumps.
Did you read Fear Street?
No.
Fear Street was one those were kind of scary. It was R.L. Stine. And I think Goosebumps were the kind of little sister, little brother version of Fear Street. So it wasn't as... I just remember there was one about a babysitter, and that kind of messed me up because I was a babysitter in high school, and these books were about like a person who was babysitting who was under attack by a murderer.
Did they make a TV series based on Goosebumps, or am I thinking of
Probably,
Are
yeah.
You Afraid of the Dark? Do you remember that show?
Both.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
I think there is a TV show for Goosebumps.
The Crypt Keeper. Did you ever watch The Crypt Keeper?
Oh man, I was just young enough that the Creeper still creeped me out. But old enough that Are You Afraid of the Dark? I was like, lame,
I don't
boring.
think I watched that really. I know of it. Was The Crypt Keeper kind of like a Twilight Zone type of a thing where it was just a series of
He was
creepy...
Rod Serling, basically. The Crypt Keeper was Rod Serling. He would introduce each story. But he was so scary.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
Did you ever watch any of those?
No, I never really watched scary movies. I still don't watch scary movies.
Do they scare you?
No, I just don't like them. I mean, it's not even that they're scary. It's just they were very violent and gory. So I just stayed away from
It's
them.
way worse now.
Oh, I know.
The commercials for these movies are
Oh yeah.
like, I'll be watching a very family-friendly type of a thing, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, kids, hide your eyes, don't look at the TV, because it's very frightening. I don't like that. I wish there was some sort of regulation on family-friendly that you can, I don't care if you advertise those things, but you got to keep some of that stuff off my TV screen. I don't want to be sitting up with my kids because they saw a commercial.
Yeah, exactly.
YouTube poll before we get to a break, or to Mark Reardon's show. We're almost done.
Big break.
Yeah, big break.
Big break. All right, today's YouTube poll is asking, will Kim Gardner ultimately be removed from office? Yes or no? Do we want to share what we think? First?
I think yes. Ryan?
I too think yes, simply because there's bipartisan pressure.
I said yeah.
I think it has too much national attention for this just to be pushed off to the side. 68% of our voters agree with us, and they say yes, Kim Gardner will ultimately be removed from office. 32% of the people said that she will not be removed from office. And our poll had over 220 votes. So
Nice.
68% of the people said yes, 32% of the people said no. I will get to some comments really quick. Wolf Light says, I voted yes. I really hope they get her out and clean up the city. Eric Hayes says, I hope she will be removed, but I voted no. She won't be removed as too many fear the violence and riots that will follow if she is removed. Adam from YouTube says, as much as she needs to go, they are still dealing with the Eastern District, so having her removed is a very long shot. Jackie says, I voted yes. I, like Mark Cox, don't have a lot of faith in our justice system.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming in and voting on this poll with us. We appreciate it. Each day we put one of these polls up, and you can go vote there and comment. We'll feature your comments throughout the course of the show. So we appreciate everybody who participated. Eric Hayes, I got to get his comment in here before we wrap it up. Annie, I brought sardines and camembert on a plane once. I was asked to never fly again. I did it on a dare.
Okay. Is camembert a drink? It sounds like either a fine wine or a spice.
What are you doing if you're sitting next to someone and they open raw fish?
Blah!
You know
Throwing
what?
up.
I'm so fascinated by just people
It's a
watching.
cheese.
I would say I'm going to just see what happens
I
here.
think I just stare at them the whole flight with just the most angry, disapproving glare. The whole flight.
In RBF, some may say.
Here's the other question. If you're in a situation where you're dramatically offending somebody and you don't really realize it, would you rather have someone sit and stare at you or say, sir, could you please keep that for the end of the plane?
I'm going to ask them why they're staring at me.
Ryan,
speak your mind.
Just stare at me. I don't want you to say anything. I'd feel bad.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. The Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Ophthalmology Associates. My eye health is super important to me for a variety of reasons. About 30 years ago, I had an eye disease, and I almost had a retinal detachment, had surgery. Everything has been okay, but regular eye care has become important for me and has been for decades, and I only trust the best. And that's doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra at Ophthalmology Associates. They're here in St. Louis to take care of all of your vision needs. Maybe you have dry eye or your eyes